Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. Now, for any of the VOD watchers, I will be including timestamps in the description below, so if you want to skip right to the main meat of the topic, the segment, the thing that's in the title, you're more than welcome to do so. I will be including that in the description. And, today's topic is, quote, men can't become women, end quote. Now, that's something I've heard a lot. Now, the issue with this line of argumentation is, anyone that says this is arguing against the voices inside of their head, right? Nobody is saying that men become women. When I refer to a trans woman, I don't think that they were ever a man to begin with. Now, they might have presented as a man, they may have referred to themselves as such, maybe at one point they even thought that's what they were. But they weren't a man, right? That is the fundamental distinction. With that being said, hello, Sign Addict, you're the first person in chat, congratulations. Hello, Minty, Florida Man, Cheetah Man, Angel HH, hello, Lime, hello, DeQuavius, John Dingleberry the Third Jr., hello, Slaughter Me, saying, what the Sigma, good question, hello, 33, hello, Keldoge, no one is a woman, this is true, women are fake, hello, Randy S, T Advice, Pumpkin on Pause, Batau Crafter, Abby O'Neill, you are a queen. Why, thank you. I very much appreciate that. I'm gonna drink some water real quick and then, yeah. Your hair is so cute. Thank you. I really appreciate that. But, yeah, I hope you're all doing well today. Now, do we get right into the main meat of the topic, or do we do some just chatting first? I'm not sure yet. With that being said, where's the part where it shows the thumbnail? Oh, well, it doesn't show the thumbnail. Anyways, what's good? I don't know. What is good? I used to be Pumpkin Pie, but changed my username and PFP. Well, fair enough, and welcome back. It's good to see you again. Chatting first? Alright, we can just chat first, okay? Whether it be about the main meat of the topic or just chatting. I broke M60's phone with her. I don't remember who M60 is, if I'm going to be completely honest. I'm sorry. Anyways, what's up? Hope you're good. Why, thank you, Chappie. I hope you're also good. Hello, Mr. Deadsec. I hope you're also doing well. Hello, Tyler the Snake. Hello, Roderick. Do you remember me? I'm sorry, I do not remember you yet, but I probably will at some point. Having not a good day. I'm sorry to hear that, Joseph. And I hope that this live stream can at least in part fix that. I hope, maybe, potentially. Hello, Tubian233. It's very good to see you again. Yeah, I'm happy to see you all here. I'm excited to talk about this epic video that we're going to go over today called The Lies of the Trans Movement, Helen Joyce, who, for those of you who don't know, is a delusional TERF. That's right. Anyways, did you get shadow banned? Because I have looked you up. Sometimes my channel, will randomly stop showing up in search results for a week. It's very weird. Maybe that's what's happening right now. I have no idea. Let's see. Yep, that is what's happening. You have to search it by channel right now. I don't know why YouTube has a tendency to do that. I genuinely don't know. It would be one thing if I was Tipster, okay? Where people search Tipster to watch videos about Tipster, right? But that's not really what this is. It's my content shows up first. It's these are my live streams that are showing up as the first results. And, yeah, so I don't know why YouTube is like that, but I think it's a bug. I don't think that that's intentional. Anyways, when do you debate MRAW? I'm not sure if he wants to even debate me. I mean, I don't know. He didn't even respond to the DM in terms of okay, here's when we'll debate or anything. I think he just wanted me to debate him on the spot. Even though I haven't debated in ages and I was ending my live stream and going to bed, or at least trying to go to bed. Hello, 11 Ghost. Good to see you. Is it night for you? It is. It is currently 9:20 p.m. So it is indeed night for me. What about you guys? Anyways, my dick broke. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, your duck broke. Okay, well, yeah, there's a big difference there. I don't even know how you would break your... You know what? We're just gonna move on. Stream if Femyoz is short. No, that's not how... Okay, 5'6" is not that short, but you should stream anyway if I'm tall or short. Either one works. Why starting so late? Because I had some stuff I had to do for college, unfortunately. I know. It is unfortunate, but it's the truth. And I was being lazy before then, if I'm going to be completely honest. But, I mean, I did 2 streams yesterday, and which total out to over 5 hours. And so I'm getting back into the swing of things, obviously. But sometimes I might do a little bit of a shorter stream. Haha, I'm taller than you. Okay, well, shut up. So what if you are? Taller than me? See, I'm taller than some people. I'll have you find. Short. I'm not that short, okay? Just because there's some people that are taller than me doesn't mean I'm short, okay? Anyways. Yeah, before I used to go through live streamers, you were always there. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, YouTube is weird, but this isn't the first time it's happened. So in like a week, to a couple of weeks, it'll work again. I don't know. It's something I've noticed. I don't know what causes it, but oh well, I guess. Unfortunate. Unfortunate, I know. So sad. Femyoz is short, right? I am not short. Agree or else? Okay, I see how it is. You did the quantum Why would I be doing quantum equations? I am a dumb YouTube live streamer. Do you think I'm, like, smart or something? What's going on here? Just because I talked about quantum computers, like 5 years ago on a video I did, because that was my autistic hyperfixation at the time that I thought was interesting. Doesn't mean I'm smart, okay? Also, Bolax didn't know where the Twin Towers were. That's kind of crazy, though I will say he gets a tiny bit of leeway, only because he's Canadian. What is the topic? Today we're going to be talking about the lies of the trans movement, according to Helen Joyce. But right now we're doing a just chatting segment, but in a few minutes we'll start that. But we're only around 7 minutes into the stream, so I want to talk to you guys first. But yeah, if you're wondering, Arcadia, we're talking about, quote, men can't become women. That's the level of argumentation we're dealing with, which is an argument that only works under the presupposition that sex and gender are somehow the same, and that if a trans woman refers to themselves as a woman, that she's necessarily making a statement about her biology, which she wouldn't be, right? Now, a biological male could be a woman, but men and women are, I mean, unless I guess they're gender fluid, like, then maybe you could categorize it that way, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, that would just be like a gender fluid person going one way or another depending on their, on where they are. Hello, Feminine Chat. Hello, AC. Good to see you again. How tall is you? I'm 5'6". I'm taking my HRT, checkmate liberals. Yo, same! Dude, you and me are like the same in that way. We both take our HRT. Exactly, it's a straw man to say trans people believe they can defy biology. No, literally. It's like, the whole notion that trans people are somehow delusional is something that's always struck me as very odd. Even if you disagree with the way in which we use terminology, it is completely illogical to say that I am delusional or that I have some sort of false belief. Right? I don't look down and think, oh shit, I have a vagina. I've never said that I'm a biological female. I don't think that I have XX chromosomes. There's technically a non-zero chance that I have, it's not Swire syndrome. What's the one that goes, what's it called when it's in the opposite direction where somebody has XX, but they, but due to some sort of genetic abnormality, they have, that they end up being male. Ha, Femyoz, you absolute shorty. I'm 5'9". That's not fair. Why am I getting bullied for being I'm not even that short. That's the whole right-wing argument? Yeah. Though I will say some right-wingers are worse at arguing than others, if that was even possible. With that being said, thank you, MTY5, you beautiful fucking bastard, for the $10 saying, is it gay to like short people? I was told it's also gay to touch yourself while looking at women. Apparently it's gay to exist. Always say the things, and I'm gonna go find a trans woman for this thing. Straight guys don't come out to the public. They do. IDK, you're pretty short. Start spinning. All right. Okay. I'll do 2 Skirt Go Spinnies for you. There you go. All right. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for the 10. Oh God, it's kind of, the skirt is a little bit short. Oh well. I just gotta be careful. It's like a challenge with this one. It's like if it moves like if it moves like one molecule upwards, then it's gonna be a little bit of an issue, to say the very least. And let's see here. Where was I going with this? Q? Why, thank you. Very skibbity. I agree. Hello, Casual312. Good to see you again. Yes, only two genders. XY and YY, okay? There's XY and YY, alright? Those are the two genders. Hi, sorry I missed the notification. No worries, Nathan. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes YouTube just sucks. Well, being short makes you come out to look more like a girl, so it's kind of a win-win. Hell yeah. I need 2 more people for this thing. With a trans woman, any volunteers? Wait, I'm so confused. What is happening? Being under 5'9" is short in my eyes. But 5'9" is not short. Okay, I see how it is. There's only autism and normies? True. Those are the two genders. Hello, Basil. I hope you're doing well. I have a genuine question, Femyoz. Why do you dress like that? Because those are the clothes I like to wear. I guess. It's what I like wearing, I guess you could say. Gay? I mean, to be fair, I am pretty homosexual. I will admit that. Anyways. Anyways. Why not wear my melody? What does that mean? Femyoz, can I be unbanned in my lifetime? Eventually. The 3 genders. Male, female, and SpongeBob. So true. So true. Hey, this is Haven. You are pretty. Thank you, Haven. I appreciate that. Can we get a :3 for trans rights? You know what? Fuck yeah. I'm gonna put one in chat for trans rights. There you go. Nah, but being short is cute. Don't worry. Okay. I see. Have a good day, Femyoz. You too, Nelson Rodriguez. And I hope that you enjoy your stay. Intersex people can have XXY, XYX, and more. Saying there's only XY and XX completely ignores their existence. Exactly. By the way, XY and YY is a meme on this channel because of somebody called Trumpster Bob. And this wasn't just like him misspeaking one time. He didn't just misspeak a single time and oh, whatever, he accidentally said the wrong thing. No. He repeatedly said that there is only XY and YY multiple times in a row. So he unironically believes that you either are born with XY or YY. That is his actual position. I'm not even joking. Dude, we need to bring back the triangle meme. Dude, why are people spamming triangle in my chat? Chat, what are all these triangles for? Chat, why are we triangle posting again? What happened? Why are there so many triangles? You know what? I'm gonna put a triangle in chat. Okay? Yeah, that's right. You look so pretty. Why, thank you. I revived it. Well, damn. Let's see here. So you like it in the behind? Incredible question. Thank you for asking. Yeah, we're actually triangle maxing right now. How do I triangle? Good question. The only gender is Sigma or Republican. True. As a white male, you should learn science. What are you talking about? Dumpster Bob is special. Truly, he's special in a lot of ways. He's the kind of special that requires a ride on the short bus to school, to say the very least. I want to be shorter. I'm taller than my BF. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's fair, I guess. I kind of like the fact that I'm shorter than my girlfriend, but I've dated people that I'm taller than before. Well, I guess one person. Men can be women if they want. Well, no, it would just be if a trans woman refers to herself as a woman, then she wouldn't be a man, right? So it'd actually just be a woman being a woman, right? Trans women are women. Exactly. I agree. Anyways, bottom. Why is everybody calling me a bottom? I am 4'4". That's crazy. That is very short. I will say that's actually very short. I just want to date someone around my age that doesn't have a personality disorder. I mean, fair enough. Me personally, I could never date somebody without some sort of personality disorder. I'm sure Lime has I'm kidding. Kidding. What do you know about antimatter? I know that in terms of antimatter, if it interacts with matter, then they basically There's like an explosion in which they cancel each other out type of thing. It's so it cannot encounter matter, or they cancel each other out. I believe it's also the case that they're if you put antimatter into a black hole, it basically just does the same shit as matter. It doesn't like cancel out the black hole or anything. It just makes the black hole larger. Don't ask me why I know that. Anyways. No donut goal can hold us back. Bottom. Shut up! I am not going to admit to anything unless we hit the donut goal or if an individual person donates $55 at once, okay? Anyways. Matter cannot live without antimatter, but they cannot be together due to catastrophic events. Antimatter colliding with the same element creates negative photons. Do you mean with like the matter counterpart or what? Or positive, sorry. Okay, yeah. Isn't it the case that there are like minute differences? Like very insignificant, but technically wasn't there like a minute difference between antimatter and matter aside from like obviously them being the opposite of each other? Like wasn't there like a slight, I don't know. I could be wrong. I remember seeing, look, it's been too long. All right, dude, look, I'm not here to do all this nerd shit, okay? I'm sorry. Smartyos, no, I'm not smart. This is like, I saw something on the internet a long time ago and I vaguely remember it. That's not me being smart, okay? Anyways. Your chromosomes are XY and will always be XY. I never argue the contrary. All women have XX. Okay, what about like somebody that's born as a biological female that has Swyer syndrome, meaning that they're born with XY, but they have androgen insensitivity. So like they're born with a vagina and everything. Then what? Like would they be like a man? Should they be forced to go on testosterone and transition? Yeah, hyperfixation, Joyce, for real. Anyways. Photon disappear from existence when it disappears. Look, I don't know enough about science to make serious claims on the matter. Is a trans woman a biological woman or a biological man? Yeah, so like a trans woman would be born as like a biological male, right? Like otherwise, what would they be transitioning to and from, right? Like if it was the case that I was a biological female, then I wouldn't be transitioning. I would just be a cis woman, right? But because I'm a, like, like what would I be transitioning from, right? Like, oh yeah, dude, I'm a biological female. I'm transitioning from female to female, right? Like that doesn't make any sense, right? And that's sort of the entire, point of the sex gender distinction, right? I know that the primary difference between matter and antimatter is that the antimatter has the opposite electrical charge to their corresponding matter particles. But I mean in terms of how they behave independently from one another, right? I'm pretty sure there was like a slight difference in terms of how the... I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyways. No, dude, this is not becoming a science stream, okay? I'm sorry, dude, dude, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough to have like a legitimate discussion on this. All I can do is be like, oh yeah, I like vaguely remember learning about this maybe, and it could be correct, who knows? Right, not all atoms behave the same. Yeah, but I mean like if there's like if you have like, I don't know, one atom and then you have the antimatter equivalent / counterpart of it, right? Independent of each other, I guess. I believe that they might operate slightly differently, but I could be wrong on that. I don't remember specifically. If there are any differences aside from there being like the opposite electrical charge, right? But I'm pretty sure there were other differences. They do. Look, I'm not somebody that's in a position to comment on that, okay? I'm sorry. Anyways. What does non-binary mean? Not non-binary, non-binary. I don't know what non-binary is. I know what non-binary is. I'm sorry, yeah, anyways, do you stream every night? I try my best to, so almost every night. but sometimes I might have to take a day off if I'm busy. Don't you think your act makes the USA look weak? Yeah, dude, we're gonna... The West has fallen. Billions must die. What will we ever do? No! Oh, no. Apparently, me being a live streamer, it has something to do with whether or not the US as a country looks weak. That's so true. How do I pass as a female? I am having issues passing. I'm not sure. Definitely shave body hair off. I think that doing your eyebrows, like just like learning, like figuring out how to pluck your eyebrows and shit, which just requires tweezers, makes a huge difference. Obviously try your best to, you know, shave as much as you can for your face without getting razor burn. I used to get razor burn. That used to be an issue I had. Gender is not real. It's fake news made up by the government. We just exist. This is true, by the way. It was actually invented by bathroom companies to sell more bathrooms. That's right. What are you doing to make America better, in your opinion? What do you mean by that? Making America better? I mean, I'm 20. There's like, there's not much I can do. Maybe advocating in favor of positions that I think maximize utility, which would apply to this country, or any country broadly. I think entertaining people benefits people whether or not they're in the country. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but that's going to include people in the country. But, like, I don't think I have, like, some huge impact or anything, right? I don't think it's, like, I don't think I'm somebody that has, like, some profound impact on the United States of America, right? Nor have I ever said that I do, right? That's kind of a weird thing to ask. What age did you become trans? Do you mean, like, coming out as trans? Or, do you mean, sort of realizing that maybe I'm trans? Or understanding the term, like, because that's ultimately going to determine, or do you mean like how long have I been because okay, realizing it so at some point within the last year-ish, I think. I don't know, maybe it's been a year ago at this point. I don't know, it's kind of a while ago. It also depends on like, okay, like how close did I get to it, because for a while I'm like, okay, I think I'm non-binary, I'll use any and all pronouns, and then that switched, so it's like, I guess, okay, figuring out what, like, coming to my current identity that I have, or, like, are we talking about just thinking, okay, I'm just trans broadly, in which case, that'd be, like, closer to 1.5 or 2 years ago, from before I started HRT. I appreciate the honesty about no impact, but that's what I'm hoping you can do. Yeah, but I don't know what you would expect me to do. Something like work in a way that can contribute to this country. Do you think that entertainers don't contribute happiness to people in the country? Do you think that like, do you think you're like a bad person if you're like an entertainer and you want to entertain people for a living, even though it's what makes you happy and your audience happy? You don't think there's like a place for like live streams or entertainment or anything like that? Anyways. I realized I was masculine, didn't really, like identifying as a girl at 8, but I didn't know about LGBTQ. Well, that was the thing, is like, I knew I secretly wanted to be a girl since I was like, somewhere from 3 to 5. I don't remember the exact age. But I would have been at most 5 years old, right? So for as long as I can remember, I knew I secretly wanted to be a girl, and I did a bunch of mental gymnastics as a result of this to convince myself, well, I can't be one, and I'll just have to accept the fact that I end up becoming a man anyway, and oh, well, you know, but it just ended up being too miserable for me to bear, so eventually I came out. What makes you think you wanted to be a girl? Yeah, so, do you mean when I was 5? I don't know, but the reason I ended up coming out as trans, the reason I ended up acting on that, was because, it maximizes my happiness, right? So I came to the realization at one point, almost a year and a half ago now, that, I did not want to masculinize any further, right? So I started hormone replacement therapy, almost a year and a half ago when I was, 19, right? And what ultimately got me to make that decision in the first place was realizing I really do not want to become more masculine. I don't want to grow more facial hair. I don't want my face structure to masculinize. I don't want any of that, right? I don't want more body hair. I don't want anything like that, right? So I came to the realization that, okay, I need to take some sort of preventative measure if I am going to be happy, right? And I also knew that I wanted to be more feminine, right? I knew that that was the direction I wanted to go. And I was like, okay, so what happens if I go on estrogen? I'm like, okay, well, I grow boobs. Well, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Why wouldn't I want that? That's what I've always wanted, actually. That it will redistribute my fat so that I look more feminine. It will prevent any further masculinization. The rate at which body and facial hair grows is slower, I think, or like it grows thinner or whatever, right? It doesn't completely go away or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, all of you get softer skin, like all of these awesome changes that, like, I don't know why the fuck I wouldn't want that, right? So I'm like, okay, so I made an appointment, with Planned Parenthood, and, basically, I think it was through the informed consent model, I ended up starting HRT. Now, in terms of finding out why I prefer she, her pronouns, I came to the realization that that's just simply something, like, I have a preference for it, right? It wasn't like there's nothing more to it, right? So for the longest time, my position was, you can refer to me using any and all pronouns. I don't really care. I don't have a preference, whatever. Call me whatever you want, because whatever. Just whatever is easier, just because I'm like, okay, just for the sake of convenience, whatever I look like to you, right? But eventually it got to a point where there would be new viewers that would show up, and occasionally they would refer to me using she, her. And I realized, like, I came to the realization that, oh, okay, this is actually my preference, right? This is actually my preference. So I'm like, okay, I use any and all, but I have a slight preference for she, her. But it got to a certain point where it's like, I don't, like, why would I be not maximizing my happiness for what? The benefit of nobody? So I came to the realization that rather than, going on an entire diatribe and being like, yeah, I mean, I use any and all pronouns technically, but also I have a slight preference for she, her. It's just easier to say she, her, or she, they, right? It's just more efficient, so I'm like, you know what? I'll just go by she, they. Anyways, no one asked, but I was literally responding to a chat message. So necessarily, I had to have been asked if I was answering that question, right? Unless I manifested a chat message that didn't really exist in my imagination and responded to that instead. I gotta go. Love you, Femyoz. Bye. Goodbye, Alexis Kingdom. You're so beautiful, princess, and your voice is amazing. I'm jealous, TBH. Aw, well, thank you. I have a couple of questions if you don't mind. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah, but I like she, her. Exactly, right? So it's really just maximizing my preferences in a way that harms nobody and benefits me, right? So nobody loses anything, I gain something, so why the hell not, right? What's the biggest threat to the LGBTQ community? I would argue legislation, especially in red states. I would argue that that's the biggest harm, at least in this country. In other countries, it's going to be different, but generally it's going to be anti-queer legislation, right? Or anti-trans legislation, right? You want him, you're her? True. We see your cat? I don't know where the fuck she is. Is she on my bed? She is, but she's sleeping. I'm gonna let her continue to sleep. I'm not gonna wake her up. She looks very comfy. What's up, bro? Hello, Danny. I hope you're doing well. Anyways, yeah, the classic. I have a slight preference for she, her, but you could use whatever you want. I mean, I could go back to that if you guys want. I don't know. It just seems inefficient to have to say that every time. Is it easy to get a job in your region? Depends on the job. I don't know why you're asking that though. Ultimately, I'm focusing on this because this is my dream job at the end of the day. So if I could make this work full time, that'd be awesome. You've got a really pretty side profile, really? I never liked my side profile, to be honest. Or my front profile, but I especially never. I always disliked my side profile. Though if I'm like at a slight angle, like the slight angle shot, where it's not like front facing, but it's like slightly, that I fuck with. Nah, it's cute. Really? Can we see the fit? Yeah, I'll show the fit one more time, in case you're wondering. So yeah, this is the outfit I'm wearing. I hope you guys like it. And, yeah. I hope you guys like my outfit. I like my outfit. I hope you guys do too. In all seriousness, why is YouTube bombing me with your channel? I don't know. Why are they? Maybe YouTube just knows that my channel is goated and that you want to watch my content, alright? Even if you're denying that. I don't know. YouTube just knows what you like. No way, your side profile is actually adorable. Stop capping. Wait, actually? Wait, actually? I always thought that was like, it's completely cute. Wait, really? You guys aren't just glazing me, are you? Are you moving Canada since the election? No, I live in a blue state. I should be fine. Probably. What do you see as the best solution to the unigenderist problem with public restrooms, especially in schools? Well, ultimately, I would be in favor of just having more unisex bathrooms in general. I'm in favor of allowing people to go into the bathrooms of the gender that they identify with. Like, it just seems to maximize the overall well-being of people. You're very pretty, actually. Aw, thank you, Violet. You're so sweet. I wish I looked like you. Wait, really? Aw, thank you. Chat, I think, okay. I will say, and you might have noticed this yesterday as well, because before that stream, I did do my eyebrows, but I feel like I overdid them. I think I might have made them too thin. So I'm probably going to let them grow back a little bit. You don't give yourself enough credit, Femi. You're adorable. Aw, thank you. I really appreciate that. HRT made you gain so much weight. And mad you look so much more masculine. Yeah, that's so true. Yes, dude, it actually masculinized me. What are you talking about? We're glazing you, and you're cute. Okay, well, alright. I see. I wish I can help all cat boys. Her smile, OMG, melting. Do you think it's best to have one bathroom for everyone, 2 bathrooms, and allowing people to choose? Or separate bathrooms for each and every defined gender? I think 2 bathrooms and allowing people to choose is probably better. But, I don't know. I mean, alternatively, I'd be in favor of nicer bathrooms too, right? Like, that's, I mean, just nicer bathrooms where it's like, I don't know, like, individual, like, I don't know. I don't like the fact that there are, like, gaps, like, underneath and above the I don't like the way that it's done. I feel like it's cheap and lazy and it sucks. Right? I think that each toilet should be, like, its own little room. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Preferably each one containing, like, a sink and a toilet and toilet paper and everything you would ever need. And I also think that urinals should be illegalized because I hate urinals. And back when I was boy moding, I would, even back then, avoid them at all costs, unless I literally didn't have any other choice. And I actually despise urinals. I think that urinals are evil, and I think that they're actually a perfect example of Western degeneracy. With that being said, hold on, let me adjust my hair slightly. It's like a little bit, I don't know. Not that it's too uneven, because, like, obviously it's a side part. It's like, I don't know. Damn it, I made it worse. No. I made it worse. Oh well. Are you a boy or a girl? I am a girl. What about you? Are you a boy or a girl? Or maybe you're neither. Maybe you're both. Who knows? Maybe you're just a figment of my imagination. Maybe we're all just a figment of our own imaginations. What truly defines a gender? How has that changed even in the past 5 years? Yeah, so there's going to be different components of gender, so I guess that's like a little bit vague. But gender is going to consist of a few different things. So it's going to be gender expression, gender identity, and gender roles, right? I guess would be the main categories. Also, thank you, Patel Crafter, you beautiful fucking bastard, for the $5 saying, you have a very cute side profile. Thank you, I appreciate that. No audio? That's not true. You can just turn your volume up. Sorry, where was I? Right, so in terms of gender expression, that's going to be things like the clothes that you wear, the way that you express gendered characteristics. Gender roles are going to be the societal expectations for gender, and gender identity is going to be the way in which you identify in relation to gender, right? Anyways, never mind, it was Mike, I'm back. Hello, welcome back. Feel free to request a Skirt Go Spinny if you want, Patel Crafter. And then we'll get right into the content side of things. In a couple minutes maybe, because we've actually been going. Why was this not a topic back in the day? What do you mean? Like, do you think that because something wasn't talked about as frequently that like it didn't exist, or what? Or that it was like not like a valid position? Are you transgender? You better believe I am. According to to conservatives, it's the land of the free. Parentheses, if you have the same beliefs as we do. Well, it's more along the lines of land of the free, unless you're a minority. Is that a wig? Nope. It's just my hair. I've been growing it out for over a year. Just think it wasn't and isn't necessary. Okay, can you explain how utility would be maximized if we weren't, to make the sex gender distinction? I don't know. I think you killed Lime with cuteness. Wait, actually. Do you like possums? Yeah, I suppose. Let's see here. I don't like Trump because he won't let me go into the opposite sex's toilets. Well, I actually would not want to go into the men's restroom and increase the likelihood of me getting assaulted. I do think that I deserve the basic human right of safety, you know? YouTube Shorts are going to be olive oil run. Oh, God. My condolences. Anyways. With that being said, I guess I'll do... yeah, you killed her. Emmy's too cute for her own good. Basic human right is making biological women unsafe. Okay, do you have any statistical evidence to suggest that trans women... using the women's restroom, is like a safety hazard or something? Like, do you have any evidence to suggest that? Because, like, if somebody wanted to go into the women's restroom, to sexually assault women, like, you can already do that. Like, I don't, like, what do you, do you think that somebody that is willing to do sexual assault, you know, something that is a crime, is gonna stop and think, I'm not gonna go into the women's restroom if it's a crime? Like, no, you could... Either way, you could already do that. You could already do that before trans people existed as well. You could just walk in there. Like, there's not fucking security guards, alright? They don't have chromosome scanners at the outside of... Like, outside the door, right? You can just walk in there, right? Either way, I have yet to see any evidence that suggests that trans women are more likely... to cause harm if they go into the women's restroom. There is evidence, however, to suggest that if there's a, say for instance, a trans woman in the men's restroom, that they are more likely to get assaulted. And I don't want to get assaulted. I actually would rather not die. Thank you very much. I'd rather not get hate crimed. Like, if I look like this, okay? Maybe I'm not wearing this specific outfit, okay? I'm probably gonna wear a skirt longer than this if I'm, like, out in public, off YouTube or whatever. But I digress. But let's say I'm dressed like this, and I go into the men's restroom. Keep in mind, I am 5'6" and like 130 pounds. What? Do you think that I would feel safe? Like this is me standing next to the door, okay? This is how tall I am. This is how large I am. Do you think that I, given my stature, given the way I look, would feel safe in the men's restroom? The answer is no, I would not feel very safe, you know? Anyways. Don't forget the spinning? Yeah, I guess I did that. So cute. Why, thank you. You wouldn't get hate crimed if you dressed like a male as you were. Well, I'm sorry, but there's nothing biological about the clothing that I wear. Also, I have every right to wear whatever the fuck I want. You started T-posing? Anyways. I feel safe in the men's restroom. Well, good for you. I'm glad that you do. But no, I shouldn't be forced to wear clothing that I don't want to wear simply because, I'll get hate crimed if I wear something else. Like, that's absurd. You're just, against freedom maximization, it seems. So you want to be like a girl? Do you want to start having periods? No. I don't think that cis women want to have periods either, to be completely honest. I don't think anyone wants that. Like, what? Hey, Femyoz, do you want this thing that causes everybody that has it immense pain and is something that they wish they didn't have? No, I actually don't want something that causes immense pain that nobody wants to have. Like what? Like every cis woman in the world does not enjoy their period, so why would I want that? That doesn't make any sense. Anyways. Do you think that our ancestors fought for the— I don't care about the ancestors. They're dead. Our ancestors are dead. They don't matter. They're not worth moral consideration. I don't care. Yeah, but like, what would these dead people that aren't worth any moral consideration because they're dead and therefore can't be affected by anything anymore think about it? Well, I don't care what they would think. They're dead. Why would I care what a dead person thinks? Anyways. Yeah, but you wouldn't be here without them? I don't care? Like, what? Why would I care? Yeah, we wouldn't be here without fucking slave owners, okay? That doesn't mean that slave owners are good. Oh, what would these slave owners, the reason that you're here, think about you, thinking that black people are equal? Well, they'd probably be pretty fucking racist about it, but I don't care. 'Cause I see every person as a person. So, I don't care what they think. I care what's morally correct. So you don't care about life? No, I just don't care what somebody else's opinion is if they're dead, unless they have some sort of logic and reasoning behind it. Right? Like, come on. Like, you gotta think logically for a second. You should start to use makeup. Yeah, I should learn makeup at one point. You can wear what you want, but, like, women, if you wear something revealing, it puts you in a risky situation. Ah, yes. The classic, I know you got raped, but what were you wearing argument. It's actually the woman's fault that she got raped, because her skirt was too revealing. It's actually her fault. She actually made the guy rape her by wearing revealing clothing. Like, do you know how stupid that is? And how not borne out in statistics it is, even if you were going to be like, oh, well, it increases the chances. That's actually up for debate as well. It actually doesn't seem to increase the chances. This is like the if you like pancakes, you must hate waffles argument. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You're a natural beauty. Why, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to wear whatever the fuck I want, whatever I'm comfortable with, right? Elon Musk is what the right wing accuses George Soros of being. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But they don't care because they have no consistent moral standards. Not at all justified, but it doesn't help. So let me get this straight. Women should be forced to cover up because what if men rape them? Okay, well, how about we just not allow men to rape people. You ever consider that one? I know, crazy. Who would have guessed? Thank you, Jay, saying you're pretty. I appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why anyone would make an argument against me having freedom. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you actually care about freedom, then none of these arguments would be made, right? Like, no, you shouldn't be allowed to wear that. Or, oh, well, you should be forced to go to the men's restroom even though you're likely to get assaulted in there. Even if I'm boy moding, because I look a lot less, I don't know, masculine than I used to, because of the fact that I don't even fucking pass as a guy anymore. I'm fairly androgynous, but I don't really pass as a guy. I'm still at risk. In fact, when on election day, I was just wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. Not a feminine looking t-shirt either. It was a t-shirt that I've had for many years from before I started transitioning, okay? So, and I had my hair in a ponytail, right? When I show up, and present my ID, which just says male on it, I didn't say that I was trans. In fact, I was gonna avoid that altogether. The first question I was asked is, are you male or female? Once she saw the ID. She would not ask me that if I passed as a dude. So considering the fact that I do not pass as a guy anymore, even if I'm boy moding, yeah, no, I don't feel safe in the men's restroom anymore. Even when I'm boy moding. What are your pronouns, by the way? She, they. She looked adorable, IMO. Aw, well, thank you. Does he actually think he looks like a woman? Well, no, I have too many brainworms for that. Other people do, though. That's the distinction, right? Other people do. You know, people that aren't terminally online. Just some random person that sees me in real life. Might think that, right? Considering the fact that, like, if I passed as a guy, I wouldn't be asked as the first question once I present my ID that says male on it. Are you a male or a female if I just looked like a male? Like, it's completely illogical. Like, oh, dude, I'm sure they asked that for, because I looked like a guy and my ID said male. Yeah, that's when you ask that question. You pass a lot more than you did even just a few months ago? Hell yeah. It's because I've gotten better at doing my eyebrows, though I think I did them a little bit too much. Plus, HRT has cool impacts. You're a guy? I thought you were a female biologically. Well, I'm not a guy. I am a woman. I'm a trans woman. Biologically, I'm male, though. Alright? I'm biologically mostly male. Technically, I have some female sex characteristics, sort of, because of HRT. So I have, like, boobs and stuff. But, you know, I'm mostly biologically male. Yeah. You looked more feminine a year ago when you were a femboy. Dude, I love how you think that just because I have, like, brainworms or whatever, that it's, like, gonna be easy to gaslight me into thinking that. Like, nobody agrees with you. That's the thing. It's like, nobody thinks that. That's the thing. You have to put a little bit more effort if you want to gaslight me. I'm sorry. Like, this is too low effort, my friend. I got a lot of compliments on my female look. Based. Hormone shots don't make you, more woman. No, they make you, pass better, right? But I don't think that whether or not I'm on hormones even determines whether or not I'm a woman, right? It has more to do with gender identity, right? I don't believe that my validity as a trans woman is contingent upon whether or not I have estrogen in my veins, right? Again, that's just a different form of sex-based gender at the end of the day, except it's contingent upon secondary sex characteristics instead of just sex in general, right? Would you date a guy or a girl? Well, I'm currently dating a woman. So the answer is both, though. Yeah, I have chesticles now, true. It's based on your DNA. Like, what specifically? Do you mean, like, chromosomes? What if it's the case that there's like a biological female that's born with a vagina and whatnot and estrogen by default, but she has Swyer syndrome, meaning she does have XY chromosomes. However, she also has androgen insensitivity, right? Like, how would you categorize her? Because if it's on the basis of DNA, you would think that it would make more sense to use he and pronouns for that person, right? And categorize them as a man because of their DNA, and that's the ultimate deciding factor, or what? Chromosomes make you female or male? Okay, so if somebody is born as a biological female and identifies as a woman, but they get their chromosomes tested and then it turns out that they have XY, but that they have Swyer syndrome, would you say that they're a man and that they ought to be socially categorized as such and that they should be forced to use he and pronouns? Or would you not take that position? Because if that's the standard that you use, then you have to take a hardline stance there. I totally agree with everything you're saying. When I joined the stream, I thought you were a female. Sex and gender are totally different. Hell yeah. Can you explain what the syndrome is? I never heard of it. So Swyer syndrome refers to somebody that has XY chromosomes. However, they are androgen insensitive. Now, what that androgen insensitivity does is it prevents testosterone or androgens from having any impact, right? So it's going to be the case that as they develop, they don't develop any male characteristics. So they end up with female genitalia, I believe a female reproductive system, and the female hormones that you would typically get, right? In which case they would have all of the characteristics of a biological female, except for the chromosomes. Do you believe that their chromosomes, as a result of DNA being the ultimate deciding factor, would supersede that? Or would you say, well, in that case, I would refer to her using she or pronouns if she identifies as a woman and has all of the female sex characteristics, regardless of the chromosomes? Because if you're going to be internally consistent, you would have to concede and say, well, actually, if that was the case, let's say I interacted with somebody like that, I would necessarily have to use he, him pronouns for them upon learning that they have XY chromosomes. Or would you not apply that standard? In which case, what standard would you use? I'm pretty sure they develop testicles in the location of the ovaries when fertile. Yeah, they're intersex, leaning more towards female by a lot, right? Anyways. So they're born female with the chromosomes. They're born female, biologically female, assigned female at birth, with male chromosomes, with XY chromosomes. Doesn't make sense to me. Want to learn more about it? Yeah. So if we look at Swyer syndrome, so if we look at this, it's a rare genetic condition in which people who have an X and a Y chromosome, the usual pattern for males, look female, and they have a normal female reproductive system. So normal female reproductive organs, including a uterus, fallopian tubes, and vagina, right? So they're born with a vagina, a uterus, fallopian tubes, and as well as all of the female hormones that you would get, right? So they when they hit puberty, they have an estrogen-based puberty by default, right? So how would you categorize them? Intersex is a whole different issue. Wait, hold on. You think that sex and gender are the same thing, and that ultimately what decides whether or not somebody is a man or a woman is solely contingent upon their DNA. So because their DNA says XY, which is the male pattern of chromosomes, then wouldn't it be the case that you would necessarily have to categorize that person as a man, regardless of what characteristics they have? Or is it actually not the case that you believe that the sole determining factor as to whether or not somebody is a man or a woman is their chromosomal makeup or their DNA? Because you cited DNA. You cited chromosomes. If a human was born with one leg, does that make them not human? No. There's no equivalency there, right? They're still human despite the fact that science failed during birth. Well, no, there wouldn't be a scientific failure, right? But you wouldn't. But that's you wouldn't use that to determine whether or not somebody is human, correct? Like you wouldn't use that sole characteristic to define it, right? Now, you could say that humans generally have 2 legs, which is true, right? But there's going to be exceptions to that. There might be a human with 1 leg. This same line of reasoning can actually be applied in favor of my argument. So, for instance, it is generally the case that people identify with the gender that they were assigned at birth. That's generally the case. That applies to most people. For most people, there isn't going to be a distinction there. But for some people, which would be the exceptions, there would be a distinction. So I don't see how that has anything to do with my argument or addresses anything, right? If someone has a disorder, it is the case that something went wrong at birth. Wrong according to what standard? Like if you're going to use an all-encompassing definition for so what if it's the case that I have a gender identity disorder, right? Then what? Why does one disorder allow somebody to have a gender that supersedes their DNA, but not another? Why are these fundamentally different? It is the case that it has been scientifically discovered that even before any medical intervention, the average brain of a trans woman is far closer to that of the average cis woman than that of the average cis man, right? So do you believe it's the case that somebody's personhood is contingent upon their brain or their body? Does it serve more utility to define who somebody is on the basis of who they are as a person or their exterior? Not to sound harsh, but most people with gender disorders have an underlying issue that isn't being treated. Okay, so what would need to be treated to make gender dysphoria go away? Because there is no treatment aside from transitioning that makes dysphoria go away, right? So unless you've found like a study that suggests that there's like some alternative treatment that successfully treats gender dysphoria, then I don't really see what your argument would be, right? Therapy. Okay, so if it's the case that somebody has gender dysphoria, what exactly, what form of therapy would help mitigate that? Because I can assure you that me having therapy sessions didn't magically make me not dysphoric, right? That's not how it works. Now, hormone replacement therapy specifically does work, right? Find what makes them think of that in the first place. So we don't know for certain what the ultimate root cause is. However, it seems to be the case that it has to do with the androgens that the fetus is exposed to in the womb, right? So obviously, before somebody is born, right, they have to develop as a fetus first, right? And while they're developing, they're going to be exposed to androgens, right? However, it could be the case that the extent to which their brain is impacted by androgens may differ from the extent to which their body is impacted by androgens, right? So that could be a potential root cause, right? Is androgens that you're exposed to back when you're in the womb, right? As for gender dysphoria, it seems to be the case that it has to do with certain areas of the brain and the brain structure, right? There's been scientists have found that again, the average brain of a trans woman is way the fuck off the average brain of a cis man, right? So and closer to that of a cis woman, right? Sex affirming surgery is a go for sure if you want. I'm not for it, especially when children do it. Yeah, so for surgery, I'm in favor of having to wait until you're 18 plus if we're talking about genital reassignment surgery, right? For something like puberty blockers and HRT, I'm in favor of that being able to be introduced younger, simply because if you're going through just like your natural puberty, then that can cause a lot of issues, both while it's happening and later down the line, that make it harder to transition and will inevitably make your dysphoria worse, right? Anyways, nope, wrong. Incredible counter-argument. Not puberty blockers. Well, puberty blockers are almost entirely reversible. Hormone-changing drugs are bad to give to kids. Are they bad because you say so? Why would they be bad? Wouldn't it be bad to force them to go through the wrong puberty, even though they know that they don't want to go through that? If it's the case that the kid knows that they don't want to go through their natal puberty, and the doctor diagnoses them with gender dysphoria, and also comes to the conclusion that that's the best medical course of action, and the parents consent to it, I don't see what your issue would be. I don't know why you would be opposed to that. Like, what would be your issue? It's like, okay, so the child consents, the doctor consents, and the parents consent, but I guess you don't consent, so therefore they shouldn't get it? Because the brain doesn't fully develop at 17? Hold on. You do realize that your brain doesn't have to be fully developed for you to have some sort of medical intervention, right? And it's not the case that a child is going to be the sole deciding force there, right? Like, you don't just go to the estrogen store as a minor and get fucking estrogen, right? Like, it's not how it works, right? Like, again, there's like a very rigorous diagnostic criteria for gender dysphoria, especially if you're a minor, right? So you're not just able to get it if you feel like getting it, right? Like, this takes a shit ton of effort, right? On everybody's end, right? So again, like, it's not just the child making the decision, right? So it'd be the child, a doctor, and the child's parents would be making the decision. In which case, I don't know what the issue would be. And if you at the very least agree with that, then maybe we could talk about, like, okay, what if it's the case that a parent wants to deny access to medical care from their child? That's a whole separate discussion. But first, I want to get you to at least agree that if the parents decide that it's the best decision, the doctor decides that it's the best course of medical action, and the child wants it, then I don't see what the issue is, right? Your body isn't fully developed, therefore it can cause a problem to a child's development. What would the problems be? Like, the worst case scenario is what exactly? Like, oh, okay, you go on puberty blockers for a couple of years, and then you end up going off of them and deciding that actually I don't want to transition, and then you just go through your natal puberty, which would be fundamentally no different from being a late bloomer. Like, that's what it would be, right? Sure, why not? Okay, so you would be in favor of it in that case, right? Because that's the existing system that we have in place for blue states, right? For the majority of the time, right? Anyways. Look, either way, holy shit, we've been going for over an hour. I wanted to go over some content-oriented stuff, chat. Chat. We have a video to watch, okay? We've been just chatting the entire time. I totally agree that surgery should be later. So should puberty blockers, even though trans kids know they're young sometimes, it doesn't mean... Okay, but that's the whole point, is you could just go off the puberty blockers, right? Like, I actually think it was bad that I was forced to go through irreversible changes of male puberty, right? Like, I can't undo the fact that it changed my voice. I can voice train, but not everybody is able to do that as well as I have, and it's still not as good as it would be if I didn't have to, in my opinion, right? So I can't change that. I can't change the masculinization that occurred to my bone structure unless I'm able to get surgery at one point. I can't change any of that, right? With that being said, I want to get through a video today, or at least part of a video. Maybe we'll start the video at the very least, okay? The video we're going to be watching is called The Lies of the Trans Movement. Now, for those of you who don't know who Helen Joyce is, let's just say she's known for being a TERF. So, yeah, considering the fact that this is the first frame of the video, we already know this ought to be good. I'm so excited. If it'll play.
They've made it taboo to speak about material reality.
You gotta love the dramatic music right from the get-go. You know, it really illustrates that this is a serious argument.
Young people today think identities and what you identify as is unbelievably important. In
Important in what context?
schools, children are taught that what makes you a boy or a girl is what you feel like. How do you know what you feel like? You compare it to stereotypes.
No, it would not be on the basis of comparing it to stereotypes, right? So this is already misunderstanding the distinction between sex and gender, right? So right off the bat, this is just blatantly false and illogical. Would you let kids take antidepressants? Yes. I started taking antidepressants when I was 13, so yeah. I wouldn't be here if they weren't allowed to, so. With that being said, let's continue.
It's sexist. It's misogynistic.
So apparently me existing is sexist and misogynistic.
If you're really very gender non-conforming when you're little, you're like 20 times more likely to grow up gay. But those are the people who are now being told they're probably girls. This is...
No. Nobody is saying you are probably a girl on the basis of somebody being gender non-conforming. Now, it could be the case that somebody is saying something along the lines of, you know, you can identify however you want and I'll respect your pronouns. But nobody is telling cis kids that they're trans. What is happening is people are telling trans kids that they're cis.
This is modern conversion therapy.
Would you let your kid get a tattoo? No, because it doesn't become more difficult to get a tattoo when you're older, right? It does become more difficult to transition and pass and mitigate dysphoria if you're forced to go through the wrong puberty. So these are completely disanalogous, right? Not to mention the fact that one example is necessary medical care, right? Medical transition is something that actually betters the mental health of the person that's transitioning if they're trans, whereas getting a tattoo doesn't seem to have that same effect, right? That's not like a thing that a doctor prescribes, right? Like you're not getting prescribed a tattoo from a doctor, right?
Hello, I'm Fraser Myers, Deputy Editor of Spiked, and I'm delighted to be joined in conversation.
Perhaps you would like to, I don't know, refrain from editing and go to the gym instead. You truly would benefit from it. I'm just saying.
With Helen Joyce. Helen, you've written the excellent book, Trans When Ideology Meets Reality. You're Director of Advocacy at Sex Matters. Now, the conversation around trans can often seem quite odd to a lot of people. It can be quite amusing. I mean, just in the week that we're recording this, there's a story about employment tribunal involving a gender-fluid dachshund. You often hear about...
Now, something you might notice right off the bat is these people never actually point to science or statistics. It's always one-off anecdotes. Well, what about my anecdote? Well, you can find an anecdote for just about anything, right? Doesn't really prove anything.
Breastfeeding men or academics claiming that Jesus was transgender or Joan of Arc.
From what standpoint? It would be the case that, if it's the case that Jesus is the Son of God, right? Then he necessarily would not have been able to get a Y chromosome, right?
Arc was non-binary, but...
Is this pre-recorded? Yes, I predicted your message.
There is actually something quite serious about this movement. At what point did you realise this was something that you wanted to take on and confront?
Well, I was asked to write about it in 2017. At the time, I was a journalist at The Economist.
Dude, why is she trying to confront trans people? She should instead be confronting her extremely masculine face structure. Like, holy shit, bro. You know, I thought I needed facial feminization surgery, but Jesus Christ, this bitch doesn't even pass at all, and she's a cis woman.
Economist, and I edited the international section, which runs long reads.
I don't know if I would feel safe with this person in the bathroom. I mean, this is clearly a man right here.
And it was literally, oh, kids are coming home and saying they're trans. You know, and anyone of my age, I'm in my 50s, you know, you might have heard.
Only your 50s and you look like that? Wow, some people really age poorly. Holy fuck.
Heard of the occasional person being a transsexual when you were younger, but you understood this as something surpassingly rare, and certainly not something.
I mean, that was ultimately the very same notion that prevented me from coming out sooner. Was the idea that, like, oh yeah, it's like super medically gatekept and shit, right?
That a child would ever say. So I was very open-minded looking into it. I thought, oh, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure you're very open-minded.
What's going on here? And I looked, and quite quickly I became quite disturbed because it was clear.
Quite quickly, okay, so you actually weren't very open-minded because you came to a conclusion extremely quickly on the basis of very little to no evidence.
The language was all getting messed up.
Yeah.
And so if you can say, you know, if a man can become a woman by saying he's a woman, then you can't have anything that's woman only.
Okay, so right off the bat, this is just a completely incompetent and unreasonable understanding. No, it's not that a man is becoming a woman, right? It's that a trans woman is coming out as a woman, right? So the fundamental idea behind this is that there is a distinction between sex and gender. If you're going to do an internal critique, you have to acknowledge this distinction. If you don't acknowledge the distinction, then you're just lying, right? You're just lying about the opposite position.
Like, that's just a tautology. I'm not saying anything profound there. But funnily, as soon as I said that to people, they would say bigot.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that mean that they think that what you're saying in a vacuum is factually incorrect? Or do you think maybe it's because you're saying it in the context of trying to make some other point about trans women being men? See, that's the underlying issue here. It's not that you are simply of the position that men cannot be women, right? I agree with that, at least in a vacuum. With no other context, yes. But trans women would not fall into the category of man. So this wouldn't apply to trans people, right?
So I remember thinking that the first time I said to somebody, look, if men can identify as women on demand, you are...
Well, no, that it would be a woman identifying as a woman and coming out, right? It'd be a trans woman, right? It wouldn't be a biological female in that case. It'd be a biological male, someone that was assigned male at birth, identifying differently, right? But they're not making a statement about their sex. Again, right off the bat, conflating sex and gender. This is not a good argument.
Going to get rapists in women's jails, that they would say, oh...
Well, there already would be rapists in women's jails, so I don't see what your point is. Do you think that women can't rape people? Also, if it's the case that somebody is, I don't know, a convicted felon who got charged with rape, then sure, maybe you should keep them away from the general pop, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just, built different, able to come up with solutions like that on the fly. Who would have guessed?
Didn't think of that. And instead, they just said, you're saying all trans women are rapists, which I'm not.
Yeah.
So quite quickly became aware that there was an issue, but the people that I mostly agreed with on other things were the ones who were pushing it. So I felt quite uncertain of myself. And I spent about a year just watching it quietly. And then by 2018, I'd become convinced there was a real issue here. That this
Okay, there's a real issue, chat. All right, let's find out what the real issue is.
The pointy end of a real, a generational shift and a political movement that is causing very profound harm.
Yeah.
And I wrote a big long read, which ran in Quillette that year.
The only thing that's causing you any profound harm is your fucking jawline. Like, Jesus Christ. And like the weird little skin flaps hanging from it. Shit's vile.
Divided it up into the harms that happen to women, to children, and to gay people. And that is still where I think the harms are seen. So for women, it means nothing that's women only. And
women only according to what standard? On the basis of biological sex? I mean, maybe you could argue that, like, okay, on the basis of what you're assigned at birth. Sure, maybe. You could even make an argument like, okay, like, what if it's the case that, like, I don't know, a pre-op trans woman, okay? A trans woman that hasn't gotten bottom surgery goes to, like, a female locker room and changes in front of everybody. And that makes women uncomfortable, right? I'll give the most good faith argument here for the other side, right? You could make an argument saying, okay, yeah, that's like uncomfortable. That's something that maybe it would be preferable if they didn't do that. Here's the issue with that line of thinking, though. Firstly, trans women generally aren't going to do that. That's very rare for that to happen. I know for me, even before I started transitioning when I was in the men's locker room, I would rather just change in the stall or, like, at least with like a towel, the towel around me technique. I don't know how to describe it, but I was a swimmer, right? So I would always have like a towel around me when I would take off my pants and then put my swimsuit on so nobody could see anything, right? I'm of the belief that most trans women are like that, right? Where it's like they don't really want people to see anything, right? I would just change in the stall. That's what I would do. Like if you're in a locker room where you have to get naked. Again, you would have to make a determination about, like, okay, how much harm would be caused if someone were to, like, openly change? Because, like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be in favor of like banning trans women from locker rooms. I think that maybe a solution, if that's like a real issue, is just, I don't know, maintaining like a social norm where it's like, okay, like maybe like don't like change in front of everybody if you haven't gotten the surgery yet, maybe. But again, not all social norms need to be legislated, right? I think there's a distinction between, oh, okay, that's like a little bit weird, or maybe you shouldn't do that because it's a little bit uncomfortable, versus we need to legislate this out of existence, right? So I think one is a much more moderate and reasonable position.
And women are physically weaker. It's women who get raped. It's women, men can too, but I just mean by and large. Men commit nearly all the violent crime. Women need special accommodations because we're the ones.
Okay, so you have to keep in mind that you are talking about two distinct categories, okay? So there's going to be cis men or men broadly, or hell, biological males broadly, okay? Let's say you define it based on sex assigned at birth, okay? So you have two sexes. You have the female sex and the male sex, okay? What you would need to do is you would need to determine, okay, sure, people that are of the male sex are statistically more likely to commit certain crimes or be more violent, whatever it may be. Okay, great. I agree with that. What you would have to look at, if we're specifically talking about trans women, even if you want to look at it in terms of sex, you would have to determine, does this subcategory of people assigned male at birth also follow the same trend? You would have to make that determination to make this argument. And ultimately you can't, because the science does not point in that direction. All existing statistics do not point in that direction. So if you can't prove that, then you can't prove that there's a tangible harm. All you can do is, even if you want that to be a subcategory of a broader category of biological male or whatever, right? It is still intellectually dishonest to not make a distinction there, right? The same way that I wouldn't argue that trans women are exactly the same as cis women, if I were to take the opposite position, which at one point I did, even back then, I would not have made the argument that trans women are exactly the same as cis men. So even if you have the opposing position, that logic still applies.
Ones who get pregnant and have the babies. If you can't talk about that and organise anything sensibly, it's very bad for women.
Yeah.
Gay people, well, gay people are very gender non-conforming. Like,
yeah. Nobody is saying that that makes them trans.
sleeping with someone of the same sex is the most gender non-conforming thing you can do. And actually, in other ways, gay people are gender non-conforming too.
So right off the bat, she's conflating gender expression with gender identity. And I don't even know if gay sex would be a form of gender expression, to be honest.
So they're the people who get confused and misallocated as opposite sex people.
Yeah.
No, nobody is confusing them for that. Literally fucking nobody. I'm sorry. That's just not happening. Nobody looks at a gay person and is like, well, you're having sex with a man, therefore I think you must be a woman instead of a gay bottom. That's not happening.
Yeah.
In this movement. So it's quite homophobic.
No, it's actually not. Nobody that is accepting of trans people is like, yeah, dude, I think that all men that are gay bottoms are secretly trans women. Nobody thinks this.
And then for children, well, it's children who are being taught that sex is a spectrum, that your sex...
That sex is a spectrum? I don't even think that they would be taught that. I mean, maybe when you're older, you learn that sex is like a bimodal distribution rather than a binary. But no, you wouldn't be taught about, you wouldn't be told that sex is a spectrum. That's not the line that they would use, even though it could technically be argued. Like there's a case that could be argued for that since it is bimodal and not binary, right? Either way, no, they'd be taught that gender is a spectrum, right? But sex and gender are different, right? And if you're against, I don't know, whatever it is that children are being taught about trans people, you have to at least understand what concept is it that's being taught, right? And if you don't even acknowledge that this very concept includes the sex-gender distinction, then you're just arguing in complete bad faith, right?
Sex is what you say it is, that the way you tell what sex you are is by comparing yourself to gender stereotypes. So it's...
No, it wouldn't be based on comparing yourself to gender stereotypes. This is just a fucking lie, right? There's going to be a distinction between gender identity and expression. But obviously you wouldn't know that.
Children who are...
Or you do know that and you're lying about it.
Learning this new ideology and they're identifying as trans and being put on a pathway to medicalization, which is very dangerous.
What do you mean by put on a pathway to medicalization? If it's the case that there's a trans kid, that would be, happier in life if they were able to transition, or at least not forced to go through the wrong puberty, right? Then I don't see why medical intervention would necessarily be bad, right? Like if this is something that maximizes their well-being ultimately, and that's like the most statistically likely outcome, then I don't really see what the issue would be, right? again, puberty blockers are mostly reversible. You can just go off of them after a couple of years, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's like being a late bloomer, right? You start puberty later, okay? Who cares?
And that's still how I think about it now.
Yeah. No, I want to talk about all those three groups distinctively. But what do you think when a man says that he is a woman or he identifies as a woman?
Glad to see the unbiased interviewer that thinks that trans women are men that say that they're women instead of women that are trans that say they're women. Like, again, conflating sex and gender. Like, are they even going to bother acknowledging the fact that these are two fundamentally different concepts?
Presumably, you don't think that's real, but what is really going on in your view?
I don't think it's not real. I think it's like saying that you're a Catholic or that you think it's very serious that you're Piscean or something.
No, it's actually nothing like that. The fundamental difference is one is a social construct in which there are many instances in which somebody might have a medical condition called dysphoria that arises from the incongruence that they have for their gender. And another is a religious worldview. And one of them is going to be an immutable characteristic, the other isn't. So, yeah, I don't really get this comparison.
I don't have windows into men's souls or men's minds, or women's either. If that means something to...
No, but we actually can do things like PET scans, where we can actually look at the brain structures, and all of the scientific data supports the notion, or at least is agnostic on the notion, depending on what specific parts of the brain and what specific ways they're studying the brain, is that, what was I going to say? Yeah, the average brain structure and whatnot of the average trans woman is far closer to that of the average cis woman than that of the average cis man. I keep saying it over and over again, but it's like, I don't think that that's like a characteristic you can just magically change.
To somebody, that's fine. It's a belief. I feel the problem is when you try and impose...
Well, no, whether or not my brain structure is fundamentally different from the average cis man isn't a belief. That's just like a objective reality, right? An explanation for why I might be transgender in the first place, right? Like, it's not my belief that I prefer being referred to using she, her pronouns. That's just like a fact of the matter. It has nothing to do with belief. Like, that's a fact. It is a fact that I prefer looking more feminine. It is a fact that I do not want to masculinize, and that I am better off on HRT as a result of that, because I don't want to go through any more changes of male puberty that would inevitably induce more dysphoria, right? It's not an opinion. That's just a fact, right? It's a fact that I have dysphoria, and that the only way to mitigate it is, based on the science we have, is through me transitioning medically, right? Like, none of that is like a belief. That's just a fact of the matter.
Impose it on other people.
Yeah.
And the problem is that's, when people are saying I'm really a woman when they're actually men, it is automatically an imposition on other people.
Well, no. If they're a trans woman, then they wouldn't be a man. They would be assigned male at birth, but that doesn't make them a man, right?
People, because what they mean is the things that are set aside for women, I have access to.
No, what I mean is that I would rather be referred to as she, her, okay, with a feminine name, and be categorized in society as a woman, right? I would rather be socially categorized one way over the other. That's what I mean. That's literally all I mean in terms of gender identity. That's it.
So in the introduction to my book, I say that gender self-ID or gender self-identification is a misnomer. The demand is that other people identify you as the gender you claim to be.
Yeah.
Like in terms of the pronouns that they use, I mean, yeah, I don't really have an issue with that. I don't know what you would lose from that. Like, what are you losing there? I don't see what the issue would be. Like, what? If it's the case that I say, hey, by the way, I would rather be referred to with she, her, rather than he, him. I don't see what the issue is, right? Or, alternatively, if somebody, say, for instance, has been called Jonathan for the longest time, okay? There's a guy named Jonathan. He's like, you know what? I want to go by Will now, okay? Even if you don't understand, okay, well, how the fuck did you go from Jonathan to Will? And maybe it would even take a hot minute for you to adjust to it, and maybe you'd get it wrong, and that's okay. They'd politely correct you. You'd get used to it. You'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, like, I'll respect that. It maximizes their happiness. I don't lose anything from doing so, right?
Yeah.
And that's not true for other belief systems. My business partner is an Orthodox Jew, for example. And of course, when I go to visit him in his house or I go for Friday dinner, I obey the rules. I turn my phone off. I don't touch light switches and so on. But
okay, Cool.
She knows that I don't believe any of that, and she's not telling me that's how I have to live at home. So this.
What? What are you talking about? Like, what is this comparison? Like that you're comparing a religion to somebody's brain structure being fundamentally different in a way that causes them to have a different gender identity from what they were assigned at birth as a result of that. Due to androgens, that the way that they were impacted by androgens in terms of their brain versus their body, the disconnect, etc., that happened when they were a fetus in the womb, which is something that nobody has any control over. So you're comparing a religion with an immutable characteristic. Like, that's fucking absurd.
This is the problem with this one. In my opinion, it's an identitarian movement that has got misclassified. It should be put into the belief category.
Right.
It's not a belief that... Well, hold on. It's not a belief that I prefer she, her pronouns. I just prefer she, her pronouns, right? It's not a belief that women or trans women prefer she, her pronouns. That's just like a fact, right? That's just what they prefer. Right?
But then you ask, why would somebody believe this?
So it's not a belief that I have gender dysphoria. That's just a fact, right? Based on how we define gender dysphoria, it is a fact that I have it. It is also a fact that the best way to mitigate gender dysphoria is, for me at least, and for most trans people, is through medical transition, some sort of medical intervention. Now, for some people, if they have milder dysphoria, they might be able to just socially transition, and that's good enough for them, and fair enough. But for me, I needed to start HRT. I did not want to masculinize.
Because it's obviously stupid. It's not possible for a man to know what it feels like to be a woman.
Oh, what? A man to know what it feels like to be a woman? Well, firstly, it wouldn't be a man. It would be a woman. Even if they're a trans woman, they'd still be a woman. But secondly, and more importantly, it is impossible to know what it's like to be anybody other than yourself. It's impossible to know what it's like to be another man or another woman. So this just doesn't hold up. You don't have to know what it's like to be anybody other than yourself to have some sort of identity. That's not how it works. You don't have to know what it's like to be anybody other than yourself to know if it's the case that you don't want to masculinize and you do want to feminize in terms of your secondary sex characteristics. I don't have to know what it's like to be anybody other than myself. It's impossible to know what it's like to be anybody other than myself. That's just the quality gap.
You know, identifying as a woman is trivially only a thing that only a man can do.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yes, you can. You already do that. You just don't realize it. Like, what?
I just am a woman.
Yeah. Okay. You just identified yourself as a woman, right? If people refer to you as she, her pronouns, and you accept that fact and that's what you want, that is in relation to your gender identity, is it not?
So what is going on for them? Very briefly, and for some of them it's a sexual thrill.
Yeah.
Like we've known that for decades, that many of the men who say that they want to be seen as women and to be dressed.
So the AGP thing has already been debunked a billion times, but for those of you who are not aware, hold on, I believe it's the case that, let me look this up real quick. Boo. Hold on. Let's see. Autogynephilia. Apply to cis women. Yeah, so this has already been debunked, because the problem with Blanchard's theory of autogynephilia and his typology is that, like, this would also apply to cis women, right? So it was found in 2009 that 93% of cisgender female subjects experienced FEFs. Hold on, what's FEFs? Hold on. Let me look at this. FEFs. What is FEFs? I need to know. Oh, fucking hell. Full access to the article. You have to purchase, man. God damn it. Alright. So it seems like this has already been debunked, right? Prove. Let's prove the theory. Hold on. Dude, why can't I get access to the article? This is fucked up. Okay. Autogynephilia in women. Okay, let's see. Described. This term has not been applied to natal women. To test the possibility that natal women also experience autogynephilia. An autogynephilia scale for women was created from items used to categorize MTFs as autogynephilic in other studies. A questionnaire that included the ASW was distributed to a sample of 51 professional women employed at an urban hospital. 29 completed questionnaires were returned for analysis. By the common definition of ever having erotic arousal to the thought or image of oneself as a woman, 93% of respondents would be classified as autogynephilic. Using a more rigorous definition of frequent arousal to multiple items, 28% would be classified as autogynephilic, right? So if we're gonna say that that trans women are autogynephilic, then I guess cis women are also autogynephilic. So again, it's just a bunch of like vague pseudoscience bullshit, right? Where it doesn't really mean anything because it also applies to cis women.
To dress as women and do whatever behaving as a woman is basically, it turns them on. Some of them are gay men who traditionally...
Well, apparently it also seems to, when the same standard is applied to cis women, the same fucking thing happens.
They're very hyper gay. They're really very interested in things and life roles that are mostly for women. And they sort of seem to be more comfortable presenting themselves as women. And I think that recently in the last few years, there's an internet mediated group.
Yeah.
So that's the boys who become very seriously online. Sometimes that's about porn, but sometimes it's not. It's that they're autistic.
That's so true. Dude, my autism and the sissy hypnoporn made me transgender.
Or autistic spectrum. They live their lives in a virtual way and they've become deeply dissociated from their bodies. And they think about avatars and they just...
Okay, then why is it the case that when I was 5 years old, I secretly wanted to be a girl? Like, do you think that just came from, I don't know, the sissy hypnoporn or me being terminally online? I didn't have internet access when I was 5. I didn't know what trans people were or what porn was.
They just think that life might be easier or more interesting as a girl.
No, it's not about whether or not it's interesting. It's literally just, I don't want to go through the masculinizing changes of a testosterone-based puberty any longer. So, a year and a half ago, almost, when I was 19, I started HRT. It is really that simple. Why are they only talking about trans women? What about trans men? Are these people slow? Yes, they are slow. Or, sorry, you weren't even asking this question. I'm also slow because I read it as... Let's continue.
Or they think, tragically, they think that they'd quite like to be, have a sugar daddy. Or that life is easier, that you're playing on easy mode if you're a girl.
That's so true. Being transgender is when you have a sugar daddy.
Yeah. Like the grass is...
That's actually exactly why I transitioned.
Always greener.
When were you 19? A year and a half ago when I started HRT, I was barely 19, so...
Definitely. And sticking with maybe it's that last group, what do you think pornography specifically has
I'm 20 now.
played a role in sort of supercharging this?
I mean, we don't know what the way that porn has changed in the last 10 years is doing to us. Like the studies that were done up to about 10 years ago do seem to suggest that porn doesn't actually do very much to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
It confirms people's interests, and it doesn't seem, for example, to increase, or it didn't then, increase sexual crimes or any of those things. Like there wasn't a correlation. I mean, porn became much, much more available at the same time that violent crimes against women went down.
Yeah.
Lots of violent crimes in places where there wasn't.
I mean, I'm glad that she at least acknowledges that. That's like the first correct thing she said thus far.
Much porn, et cetera, et cetera. I think everything has changed with phones, with free porn, with people looking at it much younger. And the thing, I call it like the James Bond effect. You know, the way like it's, one car and then 10 cars and then 1,000 cars and then we move into helicopters and then we're in space. That happens.
Dude, that's so true, dude. When you're having sex in the helicopter, dude, that would actually be a great porn. Dude, actually, chat, is that an existing genre of porn? Where it's like, yeah, dude, you're having sex, but it's in like a really exciting place. Like you're in a fucking helicopter, bro. You're having sex in the helicopter. Hell yeah, bro. Dude, that actually sounds awesome. Not from like the standpoint of it's like a turn on or anything. It's not, but just because it would be cool.
Happens with porn.
Yeah.
And so now what's on porn sites has become just, hyper violent, hyper degrading,
Look, we get it. You like watching BDSM. We get it. You like to watch the hyper degrading stuff, okay? You could just say you're a degradee, all right? I won't judge you. Okay, I probably will because you're like a turf, but...
Just everything has to up the ante constantly. So, what's that doing to people? Like, I'm not the expert and I actually couldn't bear...
We can tell that you're not the expert. You're not the expert on anything.
...to watch it. My friend Joe Bartosh is co-writing a book about this, and I'll be very interested to read it. I will say that about about 7 years ago, I was commissioned to write a piece about fan fiction, which is when girls write original stories that are
Dude, imagine. You want people to take you seriously, and it's like, yeah, dude. I'm gonna write about what fan fiction does. Yeah, dude, fan fiction. Dude, let me read through this, like, fucking, like, awful, like, terrible fan fiction about fucking Harry Potter that was written by some, like, 14-year-old emo girl. Oh, dude. That's awesome. That sounds like a great use of time.
based on the characters from, say, Harry Potter or whatever. Harry Potter's the
Dude, I love how the first thing I say is Harry Potter. And then that's what she says. I promise you, I was not, I did not, like, watch this right before stream or anything. I did not expect her to say that. It was just the first thing I thought of because J.K. Rowling is a TERF and this bitch is a TERF, so I made the connection in my head.
most popular one. And I spent some time looking at the big websites there, which they use tags and they classify stories, and you can get some sense of what people are interested in. And then about a year and a half ago, I looked back to see what had changed, and the answer is, in short, much more porny.
Yeah.
So I think there's a vicious feedback loop between what girls expect and what boys expect. Neither of them happy, actually, but both of them thinking the other is expecting a much more violent and scary sort of sexual relationship between men and women.
You mean like a primal / prey kink? Because, like, I don't know, I've never wanted me or the other person to be scared during sex. Like, I feel like that'd be a turnoff. Would it not? Like, wouldn't that just be anxiety inducing? I'm sorry, I don't know.
And that will fuel trans identification among both boys and girls.
Right.
Girls identifying out of
Wait, how does it fuel trans identification or whatever the fuck? This literally makes zero sense. Fuels trans identification? You literally admitted that there was zero correlation found. And now you've changed your position to actually, it's gonna make them transgender, even though I literally admitted a minute ago that there was no correlation.
what they see as a degrading and scary
Is Femi watching this on 2x speed? No. Sorry. Wait, I did it the other way. It was like 1.2 times speed.
category. And boys kind of getting confused and
I'll turn it down.
overstimulated almost. So there's a whole load going on there, and it's changing very, very fast. And as far as I know, people aren't studying it, because if you try and study it, you get called transphobic.
Of course.
No. That's actually not what happens, but I can tell that you haven't studied anything, considering the fact that you don't even know that there's like a distinction between sex and gender, it seems. Otherwise, surely you would argue against it, right? Be like, oh, okay, so like, here's like the other position, here's like what they believe, right? Like something that I will often find myself doing if I see somebody that disagrees with me in chat over gender stuff, is I'll be like, okay, so it seems like we're using words differently. So it seems like when I could be wrong, but like, do you believe that sex and gender are the same? And if so, why? Why do you think that's obligatory? When I refer to myself as a woman, I'm simply referring to, rather than a biological construct, I'm referring to my gender identity that corresponds with the feminine archetype in society, right? And that's what I mean when I use the term woman, right? So I don't really have a false belief, right? And then we can have like a discussion about, okay, like what description serves more social utility, right? But you can't even get there with somebody like this that doesn't even engage in that discourse, right? Of whether or not it's good. Okay, is it good that the meaning of this word has changed over time? If not, what word should we use to describe the socially constructed phenomenon that's associated with sex, but not sex in itself? It's merely derivative, right? Like, what word would you prefer using? Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that it's almost 11 already, and it takes me forever to get through a video, we're not gonna finish the video. All right, we're not even like we're like a quarter of the way through the video. Okay, I'm not gonna. I don't feel like watching anymore. That being said, I'm gonna be ending stream soon. I might do a phone stream in a bit. We'll have to see. I don't know. Just for fun. Just for funsies. Dude, I wonder if it's, I wonder if my subscriber count has increased as a result of the, whatchamacallit, dashboard. Ooh, we hit 48.5 thousand. Not bad. Pretty sure it was, I don't remember what it was before I started stream, but that's cool, I guess. Seems like we're not like completely dead channel maxing anymore. I don't know how many I had before I started the stream, but oh well. Anyways, we're probably gonna lose some more subscribers when we end stream though, just because like if somebody like didn't want to subscribe and they I don't know. Don't unsubscribe if you wanted to chat. You probably, if you're engaging with this, you probably want to engage again. I subbed because I wanted to know who you were. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, now you have some better idea of who I am, I hope. Feel free to stick around for more content. No, it was 38.4 thousand, I think. Yeah, it was 48,448 before I started stream, I think. So, I mean, considering the fact that it's like less than 2 hours, you know, considering what we were doing before, where we were at a point where we were losing subscribers every day, even though I was streaming, just because like YouTube was like, yes, let's just randomly delete subscribers. It was like, oh, okay, thank you, YouTube, but also, I'm subbed to a bottom to be ironic. Okay, I see what you did there. I see what you did. But yeah, I feel like the stream did pretty well. I feel like the segment-oriented stuff actually made it do worse. But, I mean, what can I say? We've averaged 136 concurrents, which actually isn't too bad. It's actually kind of decent for this channel right now. Because our channel has been in a decline, a state of perpetual decline, unfortunately. Didn't drop as many viewers. Yeah, it seems like just chatting maximizes engagement. So I'll have to keep that in mind. But I feel like one of the reasons why, and maybe, so I think that there are two solutions, or not two solutions, but like two reasons and two things to take note of. One of them is that usually I have to react to something fucking crazy for it to retain or increase viewership at this point. Or alternatively, I'm reacting to something, but I'm pausing frequently and derailing the discussion, I guess, into different conversations with chat, right? So it's like a starting point for a conversation rather than the entire conversation itself. Also, thank you, Batowcrafter, for the 5, saying W stream. Thank you so much. I guess this will be the last Skirt Go Spinny of the stream, because I assume this is the last dono. And, yeah. There you go. Normally, I'd have the person request Skirt Go Spinny in the dono, but I just felt like doing it. Cute. Why, thank you, Rainsy. Whoa, you're cute. Aw, thank you. You're so sweet. Anyways. You could recover from other sin too. I love how you subscribed to a trans YouTuber just to be like, you could recover from sin too. Okay. Cool. Good for you, man. I hope you have a nice life.
I hope you have a nice life.
Anyways. Boo. You personally might... I don't even know what that means. We ban transphobes in chat talking about God will save you, stop sinning? Yeah, if mods want to ban them. I mean, I let my mods sort of decide. Like, if they think, like, okay, this person's annoying, we're gonna get rid of them, or, yeah, actually, we can let them stay. They provide a comedic value / boost this stream in the algorithm, I guess. Top is adorable. Yo, thank you. I let religion stay personally. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if somebody is just proselytizing and they're doing it in a way that's not particularly funny and they're just, like, clogging up chat, I feel like you can remove them. But again, it depends on whether or not they're clogging up chat. Isn't that the bunny from Hello Kitty on your shirt? Yeah, it's a Hello Kitty shirt. See? It's a nice shirt. I like this shirt. I've had this shirt for a while. Now that I think of it, it's very comfy. I like it. What about you, chat? Do you guys like it? I like it. The Catholic guilt will be with me forever. Yeah, fair. It looks so pretty on you. Aw, thank you. Finding people who mildly disagree is bad. Yeah, if they offer something to discourse, or like they're operating in good faith, or they're funny to keep around, then we'll keep them around. But if they're annoying and they don't add anything, then we kind of remove them. Right? Like there was somebody that was like just asking questions earlier. They disagreed with me on some stuff, and we let them stay. I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Angie. As a woman who is married to a man, men are more depressed than women because they don't get support that women do on a daily basis. I will say that men's mental health also matters. I don't disagree with that. I think that society is too cold towards men. I also think that the expectation that men bottle up their emotions and just be a man and suck it up, I think all of that is harmful to men. So I don't even disagree with that. I think that everybody deserves compassion by default, right? Unless you're like a bad person. How do you feel about Trump versus Harris? I'm disappointed by it. I was surprised by how much Trump won by. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if it was like close and then Trump won. Like that wouldn't have surprised me. I just didn't expect I didn't expect him to win by as much as he did. Anyways. Common ground, I love it. Yeah. Like, I don't disagree with people for the sake of being contrarian or disagreeing with them. Either way, I'm gonna end stream soon. But yeah, I would never change anybody's mind if it's like, yes, you must already agree with my existing position in order to participate in my chat, right? And then my position would stagnate, right? I would never improve my analysis, right? Like if you look at like a live stream I did like a year ago, in terms of my political analysis and the arguments I made, I might have been more rhetorically effective, but some of the arguments I made are not ones that I would make today because they weren't as sound. They were flawed, and I changed them, right? I think it's good. I hope Harris never tries to be president again. I would rather somebody else run, probably. But I'm guessing that that's going to be determined by who wins the primary. I don't think Harris is going to win the primary. That was something that I disagreed with the DNC on too. Even though I ended up voting for Kamala Harris anyway, I disagreed from like a strategic standpoint. I think it would have been better if they had done a primary to decide who their nominee is, right? Before just choosing Kamala Harris. I get that they didn't have as much time and that they were on a time crunch, but I think that they should still have had like a primary, even if it's a little bit rushed. You should stop insulting people's looks. It's not a good selling point. I think it's fair to insult people's looks if they have like turf phrenology. Just for like comedic value. I'm actually a lot more nice than I used to be. Like if you think I was insulting that bitch's looks a lot, no, I was not. I was going fairly light compared to what I've said in the past about people that I dislike. Yeah, I don't think that Harris is gonna run again. I'm glad that even in a red-ish swing state, the Democrat running for governor where I live won by 60-40. Fair enough. I would be glad too. Times no, but often yeah, I feel at peace with myself. Oh, okay, you're responding to somebody else. Yeah, look, one of the reasons I insult people sometimes is like, okay, if we're talking about like a known turf, and maybe you didn't know this, maybe you did and you still disagree with me. If we're talking about Helen Joyce, like, she spreads bad anti-trans propaganda as like her grift. That's what she does. That's what she does, okay? That's like her main shtick, okay? That's what she's known for, right? So I always think it's ironic when, you know, the proponents, the biggest proponents of We Can Always Tell are like, oh, okay, you're like more masculine looking than me? Like, that's a little bit interesting. That's a little bit odd. Like, I don't know, man. Like, her forehead is larger than mine. You know, I'm not saying she has a receding hairline, but like, I mean, come on. Look, I have a large forehead too. Okay, it's okay. Look, I have a big forehead too, right? Hers is larger than mine, okay? Her forehead is larger. And she's a biological female, you know? She's looking awfully masculine. She's got that euphoria-tory hairline. She's got really masculine jawline, right? But she's a cis woman, and that's okay, right? The only reason I use it as like a joke is just because I think it's funny that like for whatever reason like transphobic women seem to look way the fuck more masculine than a lot of trans women. Like in terms of their face structure, etc. Insulting looks is also not rhetorically effective at all. It depends on who you're trying to sway, right? And how you're trying to sway them. Like if it's the case that somebody finds it entertaining, then that might actually sway them towards my side over time generally, right? As opposed to, I don't know, like somebody that wants to argue in good faith, right? That's the thing, is I can do both. I don't think that these are yeah, dude, oh my god. Dude, I remember Gorlok the Destroyer. Not the known Gorlok the Destroyer or whatever. We're talking about like the turf, the balding turf lady. Yeah, like the one that was like a detransitioner that was like balding. That's like super transphobic. And had a little bit too much McDonald's. I mean, I don't know. I went pretty hard against her that one stream. I don't think it helps when you're making a good faith political argument of quality or policy. I mean, not all of my streams are going to consist of nothing but dry political arguments that are completely in good faith, right? Not that I'm a bad faith actor. It's more along the lines of like I do like some of the more dry political stuff, but sometimes if I'm watching a video, I like to add a little bit of pizzazz to it. I've seen so many detransitioning videos. They're interesting. They are interesting. But what I disagree with is the select few, and this is a minority of detransitioners that use their status as an argument against trans people, right? Right? So just because something doesn't work for you doesn't mean that you get to logically conclude that it must not work for anybody else or for the majority of people if the statistics all point in the opposite direction, right? But yeah, no. The Absorbaloff, that was Queenie. That was Queenie. She also looks more masculine than me, and she's really she's more transphobic than Helen Joyce. Like, she would literally, like, scream at people for not getting mad while walking past a pride flag. Because in her mind, the pride flag is actually the pedophile flag. That's what she thinks, right? So it's like, I have no qualms insulting somebody like that. Ew, her? Yeah. That bitch. But yeah, I compared her to the Absorbaloff, and it was a very accurate comparison. Detransition is also extremely rare. Yeah, people that detransition as a result of them regretting their transition or not identifying with the gender that they were transitioning to, that's like very rare, statistically not very likely, right? So like one detransitioner that regrets their detransition should not ruin it for 99 trans people, right? Like that's just like a net loss in utility. Some would argue it's because they use the status of detransition to make the ones who won't listen to listen. Yeah, but if they're making bad arguments, it doesn't matter, right? Like it might get people to listen and that's fine, but if the arguments that you're trying to get people to listen to are bad arguments, then it doesn't really matter. Right? Like if the entire argument is, I regret my transition, therefore nobody should transition, right? Like that's a complete leap in logic, right? Because transition is going to be not right for everybody, right? Not everybody is going to benefit from transition, right? Now, most people that pursue medical transition do benefit from it. But you can't get, it's not a guarantee. Like there's no such thing as a statistically guaranteed outcome, right? That's not fucking possible, right? When it comes to medical care, right? But I mean, if we look at the regret rates of things like knee surgery, those are way higher, right? That doesn't mean that knee surgery is bad or that nobody should get it, right? You're true if the argument is bad. One's listening to, then yeah, it's invalid, but some might actually get convinced. I understand you. Yeah, that's what I mean when I say that there are like a few detransitioners that are grifters that use their status as a transitioner to make bad arguments. I think that Ollie London is a perfect example of that. But yeah. But whether or not somebody is a detransitioner has no bearing on any arguments, right? Like we don't base truth off of individual anecdotes, or at least we shouldn't if we want to get closer to reality. we base it off of statistics and data, which can include qualitative data, right? Right, but which ultimately, in a weird way, could actually be like, okay, like here's like a collection of anecdotes that can be categorized a certain way, and here's the likelihood of category A being the case versus category B. So, like for instance, like if somebody experiences regret or is happy with their transition, both of those would be individual anecdotes that somebody could share, right? But that in of itself doesn't really prove anything. Like on a broader scale, you would just have to look at the evidence, the statistics, and see, okay, like how many instances do you get one type of anecdote versus the other to make an actual conclusion, right? Like if you're going to make a broad statement, you have to have like an understanding of how it applies broadly, right? Not just how it applies to a single person, because that single person could be the minority, right? TJ says bottom surgery is barbaric, HRT is hot. Tell me you're a chaser without telling me you're a chaser. We get it. You like girl lick, but sometimes trans girlies need bottom surgery to be happy in their own body. So now some of us don't, but some of us do. Now, am I going to get bottom surgery? No, I don't see that happening. I don't think it's worth it for me. But that's because I don't have bottom dysphoria, right? I don't think I need to leave because I'm having good convos. Yeah, and I mean, I am going to end stream soon, but you said, well, obviously you had to have subscribed because it's on sub-only mode. But I recommend sticking around for other streams. Lol, always have some shaming. I think it's perfectly reasonable to shame you out of, like, I don't know, like, fetishizing girl dick and, like, being weird about it and being like, no, bottom surgery is disgusting, all right? Don't you see? A girl without a dick is like an angel without wings, right? It's like weird shit like that that just makes trans people uncomfortable. I'm ignorant. I'm trans and I don't know what bottom surgery is. I can't tell if that's I can't tell if you're joking. I assume, you know what? Maybe you don't know what it is. Who knows? It's like when you turn your PP into a VV. That's what bottom surgery, or vice versa. Basically, you invert your genitalia. Fetishizing trans people is really bad and weird. Yeah, like it's okay if you're like if you prefer dick and you also prefer femininity and you have a preference for trans women, that's fine, right? But don't fetishize it, right? There's a distinction. It's okay to find dick attractive or to find trans women attractive, but don't be weird about it. Don't have that be the exclusive thing that you're attracted to. Like, you made up those thoughts, not me. No, actually, I could easily tell that that's what's entailed by your position. Why? So hold on. Bottom surgery is barbaric, but HRT is hot? HRT is hot? Bottom surgery barbaric? You described it as hot. That's like a... That's you implying that you have some sort of sexual feelings towards it, right? It's not a fetish? Really? Then why are you like so disgusted by the notion that a trans girl might get bottom surgery? Because, you know, if it's not a fetish and you just like women, including trans women, then surely you would be indifferent or it wouldn't matter that much, right? Because you care about the woman more than you care about your niche sexual preference, right? Oh, okay, then I don't want bottom surgery. I never really wanted bottom surgery, so I just ignore what types of surgery they have. Yeah, fair. Fair. They also have facial feminization surgery as like the other... oh, and breast augmentation surgery. So those are the three surgeries that trans women are the most likely to get. If I were to get one, if I had to choose one, it would probably be face fem, but I don't know. Too soon to say. Have you seen the surgery? It's barbaric. What do you mean by barbaric? Like, it's not like appealing to I mean, any surgery that you look at is not going to be pleasant to watch, right? That's just because surgery is, you know, surgery is not pretty while it's happening, right? But like, you wouldn't like argue that like say for instance you know, a woman that, you know, gives birth by pushing the baby out of her vagina. Now that's a real woman. That's hot, okay? But a C-section, now that's barbaric, right? You wouldn't say that, right? Now, would it be pleasant to look at somebody getting a C-section and seeing like, oh shit, like here's like the part where they like cut open the thingy and then they put that on the chest and then, no. It's probably not very pleasant to look at. But you wouldn't have a problem with it. Surgery itself is barbaric, and so are the results. Okay, so now you're saying the results are. Okay. But HRT is hot. Yeah, that tells me that you like girl dick. I think it's safe to say you're a chaser. Like, that's a really weird position to have. Like, OMG, I almost went to bed and missed the Femi stream. Feel free to watch the VOD. I mean, I'm about to end stream. We've got the 2-hour mark. Stop shaming. I think that shame is generally bad, but sometimes it's good, okay? Sometimes it's good to shame people. Hello, sweetness. I agree with the title, men can't be women. All men, cis men, and trans men are men. And cis women and trans men are women. That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's giving tranny chaser, man. Like TJ. We get it. You like girl dick, but come on. Don't be weird. Like, if you were to be like, oh yeah, like the results of bottom surgery are barbaric, I would disagree with your characterization, but it's that combined with you saying that HRT is hot. I'm sorry, but me going on HRT is not your fetish. I like women with or without dick. I believe that. It just seems like you don't want trans women to get bottom surgery. Even though most of the time it goes fine, and the results are, it looks like a regular vagina, right? HRT is hot. It's not a... You're sexualizing medical transition, my friend. What do you think that is? Do you have like a thing for force feminizing femboys? Do you have like a kink for like sissifying femboys and turning them into girls? Is that what I'm hearing? That's what it sounds like. That's what I get from HRT is hot. And you know what? Look, I'm not one to kink shame unless you're like fucking weird about it in my chat and also are like, yeah, dude, bottom surgery is disgusting. I'm allowed to say bottom surgery is barbaric? Yeah, you're allowed to say it, but it's like, not only do I disagree with your characterization, but that combined with you saying HRT is hot, that's like a weird series of sentences to say back to back. I'm just saying. It's weird for real. I agree, Princess. Hell yeah. HRT is Sigma. It is Sigma. It's Skibbity Toilet. It is based in Skibbity Toilet, Ohio Riz Pill, okay? It is very Sigma. I would love to have HRT, save all trans kids and people. Hell yeah. HRT is hot because it keeps cuties alive. Yeah, fair enough. I agree with that. There you go again. You are making up nonsense and associating it with me. No, I'm saying it's weird that you would say bottom surgery is barbaric, but HRT is kind of hot, bro. I don't know. Maybe you're trolling? I can't tell. I don't know anymore. Bottom on the mic. Shut up. How about you speak for you, I'll speak for me? Yeah, but I can make inferences, right? Like, I don't have to take everything you say extremely literally and extrapolate no other meaning or come to any logical conclusions, right? Anyways, dude, I gotta end stream at some point. I would keep it for 18 plus, but I know everyone is gonna be like, no, but I want to express my opinion too. What, this conversation? I don't know. I mean, it's towards the end of the stream, but I don't know. I don't want my channel to do worse in the algorithm. I don't know. I think that I don't think this conversation is The HRT. Oh, okay, the HRT. Well, you're allowed to express that opinion. But I disagree with you though. I would argue that like, because it's gonna depend on like the age of medical consent, which is gonna vary from state to state, right? But it's usually gonna be below 18. So it'll usually be something like 16. For you to be old enough to give medical consent, right? It's usually before you're a legal adult, right? So there's like a distinction there. So I believe it's the case that once you're of the age of medical consent, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to go on HRT. Before then, puberty blockers, I'm definitely in favor of. Again, if the doctor agrees, that the child agrees, that the parents agree, like there's no reason against it. You're kind of a horrible person. No, actually, I think it's weird for you to say HRT is hot, bottom surgery is barbaric, right? Like shit like that is like, oh, okay, so like for you it's like a fetish. That's what it looks like for like any normal person, right? What age is twink death? I don't think there's like a given age. I think it depends on who you are. But if you want to prevent twink death, I do recommend going on estrogen. Or at least microdosing on estrogen. This is like the ending of Ferris Bueller Day Off. Dude, I need to end. Here's the thing. This is why I don't do outros, okay? Because I say I'm going to end stream and then I don't end stream. And that used to be an issue I constantly had. So I would just be like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to press the end stream button. Just randomly. Because I feel like it. Because I need to end stream soon. Like, so I taught myself, okay, when I say I'm going to end stream, or I'm about to end stream, I press the button. But now I've given myself too much leeway again. But part of me doesn't want to press the button. Femyoz is a nice person and we should just leave her alone no matter what. Honestly, if something reduces someone's pain and suffering, let it happen. Absolutely. Random Yos. You could think it's, what I say is weird, but then you shame and make up stories that I never said. No, I responded to the things that you said and brought it to its logical conclusion and made an inference. And shamed you for the weird thing that you said. Like, if you say weird things in my chat, right? I, as the live streamer, I'm allowed to respond to that by saying, wow, that was, like, kind of weird, bro. Like, I don't know, you come across as, like, a weird person. Yos. A phone stream later? I might. I don't know. We'll have to see. Do I continue doing this? Because here's the thing. I feel like I'm not going to be able to sleep either. But I also kind of want to do a phone stream. But I don't know. Yeah, TJ15, the Gawk Chaser. No sleep gang. I don't want to ruin my sleep schedule. Telling you that you made a mistake on guessing what you think I mean. Okay. Or maybe you just didn't like my characterization, regardless of whether or not it's accurate, because it makes you look bad, and I painted what you said in a negative light, even though it's what you said. Like, if you say that HRT is hot, right? But that, bottom surgery is barbaric. I mean, these are both things that benefit many trans people, right? But you think that, like, one of them is disgusting, but the other one is hot, right? So you're talking about your personal preference, not what makes the other person happy is hot, or whatever. But you think HRT is hot. What am I supposed to extrapolate from that? Well, that probably means that you have some sort of attraction to it. You're attracted to the idea of someone going on HRT. And if you're attracted, what way would you be attracted? Right? In what way is it hot? When you call something hot, what do you mean by that? You would be referring to some sort of attraction that you have, would you not? For instance, if I say, wow, this woman is very hot, do you think that I would say that because I am not attracted and find her very unattractive? HRT breasts are the best? I mean, what distinguishes them from regular breasts other than them being smaller? You could have just said that you prefer small breasts, which would be weird in the context of, like, okay, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But, like, do they have, like, a different shape? Because, like, the main difference is that they're going to be smaller on average, right? My girlfriend isn't on HRT yet, and I find her hot regardless of what they do. You're saying HRT, and what you're saying by HRT is hot, that's fetishizing. Yeah. I feel like it's fetishizing the medical process of transitioning. Like, me growing boobs isn't a fetish. That's just me going through a second puberty. Like, that's not for you to sexualize. Unless I'm okay with that. HRT also feminizes the body. That's not a sexual thing. There's nothing sexual about that. But you're making it that way. Well, you're wrong. I'm wrong. It is a sexual thing. Because I don't find it very sexually gratifying. I don't see, oh, look, I have boobs now and get fucking turned on. That's weird. Now, if I were to, I don't know, like, hypothetically be in a Discord call or whatever with my girlfriend and I take my shirt off, then maybe she finds me attractive and she likes boobs. And that's, obviously, that's cool. But that's my girlfriend, okay? So she's allowed to sexualize me. She can sexualize me as much as she wants because, you know, she has my consent. And it's not because I'm on HRT, right? Now, if you were to say that HRT makes somebody more attractive if they're more attractive to you if they're MTF, right? Then I wouldn't have come to that conclusion, right? Like, if you had said something like HRT makes trans women more attractive, I would completely agree with that. Not just because I'm more attracted to femininity, but because I'm attracted to people being happy in their own bodies. If that makes sense. Like, if somebody is, like, happy with themselves and they're... Is your GF trans? No, she's actually cis. Can you unblock Danny the Foot? I don't know who that is. But sure, I don't... Where are they? Did they get timed out or banned? I don't see them. Hold on. I don't know. I'll have to do that off stream maybe. And see, I'll just like search it. Hold on. Ah. Okay. Control F doesn't. It might just be shadow banned. Yeah, that's true. It was a previous stream, I think. Okay. Danny the Foot. I should do this off stream, but whatever. It was a while ago. I don't know. Settings. Community. Hidden users. Show 391 more. But I'm not going to be able to do this for much longer. Yeah, nothing shows up when I control F. Okay, what about Danny? Just Danny. Nope. Only person that shows up is somebody whose last name is Daniel. When I control F that, so yeah, if they were like not able to type, they were most likely either timed out, or if it's the case that on their end it looks like they can type until they refresh, and then it's like the messages disappear, but it like doesn't like say, oh, okay, you've been timed out or whatever, or like you can't send a message because blah blah blah. Like if you can tell that your message didn't send right after you send it, like it just doesn't send and like it won't let you or whatever, then you're timed out. If it's the case that you think that you're chatting, or like it looks like you're sending a message, but then you refresh and then they disappear, then either YouTube autofiltered it or you're hidden. So that's the difference. Hey, sexy soft teddy bear. It's me, your big teddy bear. Hello, Eric Vandenborn, big teddy bear. It's very good to see you again. I'm so glad you're here. I don't know what I would do without you. Anyways. Boop, boop, boo. All right, let me remove that. Sorry. Just had to uncontrol F, I guess. All right, go back there. Nope, I don't want to. Okay. No. Didn't mean to click. Okay, whatever. Dude, I said I was going to end stream a while ago. That's crazy. I am glad to see you again, sexy soft teddy bear. It is very good to see you too, sexy big teddy bear. I don't know what I would do without you in my chat. Dude, Eric Vandenborn's got that skibbity toilet riz. What can I say? Anyways. Do you remember that username? Weird. Yeah, I have no idea. Okay, lol, go get some rest. It was good to see you again. Here's the thing is, once I go to bed, I'm gonna be like, shit, I can't sleep. Or once I end stream, like, usually it's like, I can tell, like, okay, am I gonna be able to sleep or not? But it's like, when I'm streaming, it's like, I can't tell, but I'm pretty sure I won't be able to. And I'm gonna feel bad, and then I'm gonna be like, fuck, do I do a phone stream so that people get more content? If they're up late? And they can't sleep either? Or what? Google Paris Hilton saying hot. I don't care what one individual said. Hot definition. Slang. Okay. Right? So, okay, to be fair, this is AI slop, but the first thing that shows up is the slang term hot is used to describe someone who is sexually attractive or sexually desirable. Right? Look here, Collins Dictionary. If you describe someone as hot, you mean they're sexually attractive or sexually desirable. Right? So you're describing HRT, the process of medical transition, as sexually desirable. That's what you mean. Right, and then it goes down to Urban Dictionary. It's gonna have a bunch of different definitions. For like, yeah, so like very warm. Having or giving heat. Adjective, sexy, sexually attractive, or feeling sexually excited. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like you'd be more normal if you just said, yeah, I have a thing for girl dick. And people wouldn't judge you as much. Like if you were just like, I like girl dick. That's my preference, right? And you weren't weird about it, like, oh yeah, dude, I do fuck bottom surgery, that's disgusting, but like HRT is really hot. Like that's like a really weird thing to say. Definition. Dude. Paris Hilton reveals the unexpected origin story of That's Hot. Okay. So notice how this isn't like in any dictionary and hold on. So it's her signature catchphrase. At some point I heard Nikki say, "That's hot," and it resonated with me. Such a great statement, isn't it? Okay, she uses it as a so it became her catchphrase. That doesn't seem like that's commonly used, though. There's also a difference between a catchphrase that's hot versus saying, yes, the process of medical transitioning is hot, right? It's going to be a very different connotation. Like when you call something hot and like yes, HRT is hot. Sounds like you're saying something is sexually desirable, right? if you're like, oh, that dude, yeah, that's hot, right? Then that's gonna depend more on the context, right? Like, I don't see. I don't know. I feel like if you're describing HRT as hot, I think that there's a bit of a sexual connotation there. But I don't know. Maybe I should be good faith and just assume that you're not lying, even though I feel like you are. I don't know. I just think it's weird that I had to like find like an obscure use case of it being like a famous person's fucking catchphrase, right? Where obviously that's gonna have a different connotation. Think about it, HRT is hot. See, when you say that though, it just sounds like you're talking about sexual desirability. Like it doesn't sound like you're saying anything about like whether or not you're not just like saying like, oh, it's like cool or whatever, right? Like if what you were trying to say, maybe this is what you were trying to say, is like, oh, okay, like bottom surgery I don't like, but like HRT, you know, I'm cool with that. I feel like you would just say that. I don't know. I still think it's weird to describe HRT as hot, so maybe don't do that in the future, because people are going to perceive that as like really weird, because it does sound really weird, right? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and just like going forward assume, I'll just pretend like you didn't say that, but like you could see why, based on how most people use the word hot, that I would think that you're fetishizing trans people. So maybe just don't say that in the future, right? And it'll avoid that, because it does make people uncomfortable myself. Because I will admit, I got a little uncomfortable when you said that, right? Because it's like I'm sorry, but me transitioning is not like a fetish for you, or like it like this should not be your fetish. I don't know. Or if it is, just keep it to yourself, right? So that was like my first thought. You think it's fair? That's fine. Oh, you could think it's weird, that's fine, but why make up stories about me? I was just basing conclusions off of the words that you said, right? So if you say that something is hot, right? And in terms of how I and everybody around me use the word hot, like generally people use that to describe something sexually desirable, right? And then it's like, okay, if we go look on Google, okay, what does the word hot mean? It's like, okay, it says the same thing, right? It's like, okay, it's a reasonable, like it's a reasonable conclusion to come to, right? So even if that's not what you meant by it, and I'm not like 100% sure in either direction, right? But I'll take your word for it at this point to be good faith. Maybe I jumped the gun too much, but I think in the future you should avoid saying that something is hot if you don't mean sexually arousing or desirable in that way. You wrongly made assumptions. Well, I think that you communicated a message that maybe you didn't intend to communicate, in which case, okay, unfortunate. I get it. I'm really fucking autistic. But at the same time, you should, going forward, not refer to it like that, right? Because I will admit, like, I got pretty uncomfortable, right? I don't even know why that made me uncomfortable. Like, I've seen, like, way weirder stuff. I feel like it's one of those things that, like, was, in my eyes, was, like, weird enough to, like... Sorry, it, like, wasn't weird enough to, like, completely disregard it as, like, a meme or something funny, but it was, like, weird enough to make me uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe in the future you should stop being the word police and stop getting offended. Okay, but if you say that something is hot, and then I think that you're using the word hot the way that literally everybody else uses it, aside from like one niche catchphrase, then that's actually your problem for miscommunicating that, right? Now you can say, oh, well, I didn't mean that. This is what I meant to say. And that's fine, but then just don't say the thing that people misinterpreted in the first place, right? You could just not do that, right? It's like, I could be like, oh, well, I could be like, oh, yeah, dude, that, fuck, I don't know. That shirt is, dude, that shirt you're wearing, dude, that's really sexy, right? That's probably gonna make a person uncomfortable if it's like a random stranger, right? Now maybe what I mean by sexy is I'm like, yeah, that's a really good shirt. I really like it. It looks awesome, right? And I might internally mean that, but the other person is gonna hear me be like, oh yeah, dude, your shirt, that's really sexy, right? That's gonna come across weird, right? That's gonna make them uncomfortable. So even if I didn't mean it in a weird way, right? It's reasonable for them to assume that I used the word the way that everybody else tends to use the word, right? And be uncomfortable, right? And then I whatever. And let's say that happens. Okay, fuck, made a mistake. I can learn and move on. Maybe don't describe it that way, right? Because it makes people uncomfortable. Thanks, I like the shirt too. I think that if you were to go up to like a random woman, say your shirt is really sexy, I think she would get uncomfortable, rightfully so, right? Hot is not an offensive word. No, not in of itself, right? But it's just a weird thing to say, like, oh yeah, dude, damn, that shirt you're wearing, dude, those leggings, that's pretty hot, right? That's like, ooh, that's a bit cringe, is it not? Don't you think? Do you want to be cringe? Do you want to be like, do you want to like embarrass yourself in public because people think you're a fucking creep, even if that's not your intent? Why make the weird voice? Because when I read out your message, that's the first voice that I read it in. Like, what I don't know what other voice to read. Yeah, dude, those leggings are hot. Your brain is creating the evil voice. Well, I don't read messages robotically, right? Like, I don't read it as, your shirt is very hot. HRT is hot, right? I don't read it like as a robot, right? Like, there's generally going to be some sort of connotation associated with the thing that you're saying. Hey girl, that is a nice shirt you got there. Either way, I don't know why you couldn't just like not describe things in a way that immediately makes people think that you're being sexual, right? Like TJ, I want to know, like, if there was like a, I don't know, like, would you go up to like a, I don't know, a kid and describe something that they're doing or some characteristic of them as like hot? Would you do that? Because if so, like, please don't go near an elementary school. I promise you'll be better off if you just stay away, if that's the case, right? And then you'd be like, well, I was doing it asexually, right? Do you think that people would give you that plausible deniability? Like, if you were to be, like, if you were, yeah, you guys do the Mr. Girl voice, true. Like, if you were to go up to, like, a child, and maybe you genuinely think that they have, like a really cool outfit, and you're like, damn, that outfit is hot, right? Maybe you don't personally mean it in a sexual way, but if you're a parent of the child, then you're gonna rightfully be like, wow, that's really fucking creepy. Please don't go near my child ever again, or I will call the police. Now you're calling me a pet. No, I'm drawing a logical conclusion. I'm asking you, for the sake of consistency, would you say that to a kid, right? I was explaining, like, if you were, like, obviously that would be really fucking weird, right? Would you say it to a kid and be like, well, it was non-sexual? I'm not making up stories. It's called an analogy, right? I'm not saying that you did that. I'm not saying that you did that to a child, right? I'm saying if you did that to a child, well, firstly, I was asking, would you do it? And would you understand why that would be wrong, right? What voice have you read my messages earlier? Probably the one that I used to read them out loud. I generally read messages out loud. Anyways. Bro, I gotta end stream at some point. It's almost 12. It's almost midnight. I think TJ is just a troll at this point. Yeah, I don't know. You're calling me a pedo? No, I did not do that. Yeah, no, TJ is definitely trolling. Alright, I'm just gonna hide user on channel. Alright, I'm bored of them. Damn, they had a little bit of plausible deniability. I thought, okay, maybe this person's like really stupid. Like maybe they're just like really dumb. But I don't know. See, that's like the one thing about sub only mode that I like is that you don't usually get like an influx of people that are like trolls or whatever. So it's like if there is one troll, you can get a little bit of content out of it. This is why I got banned, I guess. You're really bad at arguments. What argument do you disagree with? They sucked you dry, Femyoz? They wish. Chris Chan had trolls? This is true. This is true. I think there's some instances when you highly suspect that somebody is a troll, but it's like, it's an interesting enough convo anyways. Where it's like, yeah, this is useful for content. Anyways. But anyways, I should sleep. This was fun to listen to. I can't wait for the next live. All right, good night, Angie. I do recommend turning on notifications as well. Click on my channel, turn those on. If you want to get notified, I try to stream every day. Yeah. Trolls here are weird. Well, like, the comment came across as chasery. So I was like, you know what? I haven't made fun of a chaser in a while. Why didn't I do that? I don't know. I don't know, like, if they were making, like, serious arguments at first, and then they, like, were like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna, like, whatever, like, pretend to be really stupid. But, wow, speaking like a true YouTuber, let's go. Yeah, I still feel like a... I still feel like a dumb kid in my bedroom just talking, not into the void. I'm talking to you guys. It would actually feel really weird if my chat moved as slowly as it used to when I just started out, but you know. I just found your channel and I'm loving it so far. I'm glad to hear that, Lucas. Friends are women? Hell yeah. Dude, we're at 2.5 hours. Dude, I wasn't even trying to stream for 2 hours and now we're like, oh, damn. Holy fuckamole. My experiences with the chasers are weird. Me personally, I had to say something. Yeah, I don't know. Like, even if their intention was, like, be annoying from the start, I'm kind of glad that I had that discussion, sort of. Because I want to make it obvious that, like, if somebody is, like, weird, you can, like, call them out and be like, yeah, you're fucking weird. And if they try to, like, gaslight you or make excuses, it's like, yeah, no. This is not gonna work, right? Because I know that there are a lot of trans women that fall into the trap of, like, having, like, very little self-worth because, obviously, we all have brainworms. Some of us have worse brainworms than others. So we think, okay, like, unless this person is, like, explicitly saying we're disgusting, you know, if we get any modicum of validation or potential validation, we'll keep them around. But that makes us really vulnerable if we do that. Hell, I used to be like that, right? You know, actually, we need more Rizzlers, okay? Like Eric Vandenborn saying, yummy, I want you soft teddy bear. Now, that's how you rizz up a trans girl, obviously. Sexy soft teddy bear. Can you throw your long hair, cover your face, and say, big teddy bear? I don't feel like messing up my hair right now, but I guess, like, maybe, like... big teddy bear. I hope that was close enough. I didn't want to mess up my hair. I like the little side part underneath my headphones right now. You have clinically irrelevant self-worth. Silly forever. Anyways, dude, I need more water. I'm so thirsty. What the hell? Oh my god, it's 11:51. What the fuck? Dude, we're not going to 12. Dude. I'm gonna go back into old bad habits if I do this. And I don't want that. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to streaming till 2 a.m. 2 in the morning. I'd rather just start earlier. This is bad for my sleep schedule. Sometimes I have to get up for classes. Depending on the day. Any more Deckard T Schizo posts? I don't have enough energy to go over them and read them energetically. I think those are better to read at the beginning of a stream because it seems like they maintain decent engagement and viewership. And like those are more fun if I'm high energy. I don't feel like making fun of him right now. Tomorrow, I was actually gonna do that as like the first thing today. But then I was like, we don't have time. Like we've been chatting for like an hour and I was like, you know what? If we get through the, if we could at least get through like the Helen Joyce video, then we'll maybe do it if I still have energy. But we didn't even get through the Helen Joyce video before I'm like, I'm gonna end stream. And then it's like I just keep chatting for like another hour. Dude, it's almost been an hour since I stopped watching that video to supposedly end stream. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Have you ever done a 24-hour stream before? No, and I don't intend on it. Unless there's some special occasion. But, like, if somebody donates $1,000 in a single dono, I'll do a 24-hour stream. But, unless that happens, I'm not doing it. I'd have to, like... Yeah, I'd have to tell my parents ahead of time. I'd have to do, like, I don't know, ASMR, or at least talk quietly like I am right now, because, like, other people live here as well, and they have to sleep. They can't stay up for 24 hours like I can. Anyways. Oh my god, I'm still going. Am I ever gonna end stream? I have to. I have to eventually. I love hanging out here, but I care about you. Please take care of yourself. Here's the thing, is once I end stream, I'm gonna realize I'm gonna take my HRT, as I do with the